With 3 weeks of the high school football season in the books, the Canyon Cougars have a chance to turn the page and start fresh in their District 27 6A opener. Tonight, the Cougars once again will travel south on I-35 to the city of Converse and take on the Wagner Thunderbirds, a team riding high on an undefeated start to the season, hoping to carry any momentum from an unblemished start into district play. It's the Canyon Cougars and the Wagner Thunderbirds coming up next, exclusively on the Cougars Network. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to DW Rutledge Stadium on the campus of Judson High School in Converse, Texas. I am Ben Campos, joined by my broadcast partner this evening, Roland Ruiz, the Governor Austin Milam, our spotter statistician. And Roland, fresh start for the Canyon Cougars. You could look at their 0-3 start to the season and take what you want from it, but ultimately the gift of high school football season is fresh slate, everybody's 0-0 to start district play.
Right, and you know, I guess they'll refer to the playoffs as the second season or whatever, but I guess we refer to this as 1B, maybe
sure,
1A,
yeah. I'm with you on that.
1B, because absolutely, like you said, you can take their current record, and right now, here's what matters. We're getting into district play, and it's going to be an interesting contest this evening as the Cougars take on Wagner. I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing kind of comes about.
Not all non-district schedules created equally. We'll have more on that later. But for the Cougars, like we said, looking to start fresh. Xavier Perez, the quarterback in this new offense, Roland, starting to find more and more of a rhythm. Got it going last week versus the Madison Mavericks. We wanted him to have a complete game. Was unable to put a complete game to get together. Nonetheless, his stats look pretty good.
Yeah, 18 of 32, 195 yards in the air last week, and he did a great job carrying the football as well. As we look at Xavier's numbers, he carried it 29 times for 145 yards on the ground.
And, you know, here's the thing, is we were trying to think last week, Roland, of Canyon developing some sort of three-headed monster running the ball. Xavier Perez and Owen Worley. And Seth Haney as well has been the bell cow for this Canyon Cougar rushing attack. And you look at his stats, he's almost averaging 100 yards per game. It comes out to about 99.7. Roland, I just don't understand how this young man doesn't have a touchdown yet this season.
You're not kidding. 51 carries for 286 yards on the ground thus far, or right around that. 368 yards of total offense. He has been an offensive machine for the Cougars. And just as you said, no pay dirt as of yet for Haney, but the season is still pretty young.
Well, the season starts new as we stick to that thing. So young, definitely. But we talked in pregame versus Madison, Roland, about the Cougars wanting to get Trevor Pape, the wide receiver, a little bit more involved, and that did not come to fruition in that game versus the Mavericks, as Madison had a good defense to take him out of being a part of that focal point of the offense. But in his absence, Callan Farr really stepped up.
Boy, you're not kidding. 11 catches last week for 92 yards. He was what a weapon for the Cougars last week. And I like that Xavier's able to kind of look around and start to pick his targets a little bit, starting to kind of find different areas to throw the football. It's going to be very productive for him for the remainder of the season. As
we get into post-game, one theme that I think we'll see as the season gets on is the stats for receivers catching the balls will get more and more diverse as Xavier gets more comfortable looking to different targets. Now let's go to the other side of the football, Roll, and talk about this Cougar defense. We could do a whole 30-minute pregame show on the impact Eric Taylor has had on this Cougar defense. He had a block punt for safety last week versus Madison, but let's take a look at some of the other players on there, specifically in that secondary. Zach Fansteel led the team in tackles last week.
You know, he's a force to be reckoned with. Thus far in the season, 7 solo tackles on the team. He's tied with Antonio De Leon for leading the team right now in tackles. And what a job he did. You know, that's one thing that the opponent is going to have to do is, I guess, pay attention to what side Fansteel is or where he's at and try to keep away from him.
You mentioned Antonio De Leon, Roland, and I listened back to the replay, and I was surprised that when the stats came, when the dust settled, that he only had 7 tackles. I thought you called his name more than 7 times. That tells me if he wasn't getting credit for the tackles, he was at least around the football.
Oh, absolutely. He is kind of one of the unsung heroes on that defensive squad for the Cougars.
We are in pregame between before the start of the game between the Canyon Cougars and the Wagner Thunderbirds. We're going to step aside here on the Cougars Network, but when we come back, earlier in the week, Brant Freeman had a chance to sit down with Coach Muchagimba, get his thoughts on how the Cougars performed in non-district and what he wants to see from this Canyon football team as they begin District 27-6A play tonight here in Converse. Don't go anywhere. More pregame coverage from Converse on the Cougars Network.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, Frost Bank, Nissan of New Braunfels, Wick Productions, Ashley, Zaxby's, and Texas Tractor Country.
Where Zaxby's is from, everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And now you'll like it even more because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
All right, getting ready now for the preview of the district opener this Friday against Wagner. Brant Freeman with Cougars head coach Joe Muchagimba. The opponent this Friday, the Wagner Thunderbirds, they come into the game 3-0 off the heels of an impressive come-from-behind win over Marshall, 29-21. At one point, the Thunderbirds were down 21-7 against the Rams, came back to win that football game. Coach, what are your initial impressions of your opponent?
Well, they're a little off schedule in what they do, offensively and defensively. They're very different than what we've seen so far this year. Defensively, they're an even front. They're a four-man, typically down lineman, but they're bringing people from all over the place. They're gonna stunt you and put a lot of pressure on you, which that's good or bad depending on what you're looking for. Kind of a feast or famine, if you will. There's going to be some times where they may make us look bad. They run a couple people through gaps sometimes, but then on the flip side of it, if we execute right, we can certainly have some big plays this week going against their defense. Offensively, they're the same. They're different than what we've seen. They're different than what we will see anymore this year. Probably they're an option football team, veer team, if you will. They run some midline, some triple option, and you don't see that much that stuff very much anymore. So it's quite a challenge for us, but we'll be up to it.
Leading that triple option offense is their quarterback, Tobias Weaver. 10 rushing touchdowns already this season. I know the offense isn't quite what you've seen so far through your first 3 games in Cedar Ridge, San Marcos, or Madison, but you did see some athletic quarterback play there. Prudy Calderon for the Rattlers, and last week Dante Higgins for the Mavericks. So you're kind of used to this by now, aren't you?
Well, everybody's going to have a quarterback. Everybody's going to have a good running back, and that's just the way it is. We feel like we do too, but everything again runs through the quarterback and his reads and things. So we'll have to take care of him. He's not a real big kid, but he's a tough rascal. So we will have our hands full with him.
Looking at the defense for Wagner, coming off their most recent game, some good numbers against Marshall. Held the Rams to only 126 yards, only 5 first downs. This past Saturday, they're coming off a short week. Only 1 offensive touchdown surrendered as well by Wagner. What challenges does the Thunderbird defense present to you?
Well, we just got to try to hold the line of scrimmage. Try to maintain that and keep them from penetrating and catching us in the backfield on some things. Like I said earlier, they run a variety of stunts and blitzes. Their D-line's active. Their linebackers are very active in the pressure situation. So we just got to manage that, manage that pretty well.
You won this game a year ago back home at Cougar Stadium, 29-15. And what do you remember about that game?
Well, it was a big game. It was a big win for us. Anytime you go off in district play, first district, district game, you go out there and go 1-0. That's a plus. That's what we're looking to do.
I mentioned the records earlier. Wagner 3-0, you're 0-3. That doesn't matter right now, though, does it, Coach? Does it feel like a fresh start with district play starting now?
Well, certainly. Obviously you want to win every game you go out there and play. We would rather be 3-0 right now than 0-3, no doubt. But the truth of the matter now is, our kids set some goals back in the spring, back in February, and now we're able to chase some of those goals that we set out for ourselves, which is, obviously starting off district with a win.
And Coach, to do that, what is it going to take? What are some of the keys you could break down for us?
Well, we've got to be real disciplined defensively. With their option football game, they're going to make us be very disciplined. So we're going to have to make sure that we're taking our option responsibilities. And offensively, we're gonna have to control their blitz packages.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on Friday.
Thank you, Brent.
If you bank at Frost, we'll help keep your money safe. If you use your Frost debit card, the chip will make it more secure. If there's a suspicious transaction on your card, you'll get an alert. If you do, you can freeze your card with the Frost app. If you lose your phone, Touch ID login will help keep the app secure. Of course, if all you need is help from people who care, we've got that too.
And welcome back to DW Rutledge Stadium on the campus of Judson High School. Of course, this is a shared stadium between the Rockets and the Wagner Thunderbirds, but we are here tonight for Cougars and T-Birds. As we talked about the Canyon Cougars welcoming in a new season in the start of District 27 6A play tonight. We mean that figuratively and literally, as tonight is the fall equinox, the first day of autumn, the time when daylight and darkness are equal, and so we share that bit of trivia with you. And a beautiful night rolling for high school football here in Converse.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful night, and as you said, all things anew with the first game in district play.
Let's talk about these Wagner Thunderbirds, Roland. They come into this game undefeated with a 3-0 record, and of course Cougars on the other side with an 0-3 record. But as we mentioned in the opener, not all records are created equal. You look at that non-district schedule for Wagner, and not really a lot of quality opponents, to say that gently.
Well, yeah, the first game, the first three, they played United South and Laredo, of course, Taft and Marshall to get us to this point. And they've been getting it done on the ground, though, is one thing that I think I'm sure the head coach Joe Muchagamba and the defensive staff there for the Cougars have noticed, and it's one thing they're going to have to do is kind of key on that, not to mention their quarterback, but I'll mention him anyway.
Tobias Weaver is a guy you're referring to, and you know, Roland, the Cougars can keep him in check tonight and limit what he's doing, and there's still a possibility that he will crack the 1,000-yard barrier for total yards of offense when you combine his passing and his running ability. More so, though, on the rushing side, as you mentioned, we're going to call his name a lot, and it's going to be on the ground.
Oh, absolutely. 309 yards against United South, 295 yards on the ground against Taft, 331 yards for him last week against Marshall. He's a force to be reckoned with running that football.
We'll see if the Cougars can bottle him up and at least contain him, because we know that it's going to be a difficult task to try to stop him. That's Roland Ruiz. I am Ben Campos. In the middle of us is the Washington Bear, Austin Milam, our spotter statistician. Currently on the field, the Air Force Junior ROTC cadets from Wagner High School are approaching midfield. They'll present the colors, and the Wagner Band will have our national anthem. We'll step aside here on the Cougars Network. When we come back, kickoff to tonight's ball game between the Canyon Cougars and the Wagner Thunderbirds. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
What is the fastest land animal in the
It's a cougar. It's a cougar. It's a cougar.
Get to know our Cougars in a whole new way as they take the Cougar Challenge. Who do you think actually gave the Canyon Cougars their mascot? Fun questions will bring out the real competitors in this group. What's the math on that? Puma, mountain lion, panther, catamount, deer, lion, they go on and on. How do you spell Coach Muchagamba?
Triceratops.
I bet Coach Mooch would appreciate that, huh? And then
Burns, the ring of fire. The ring of fire.
Cougars Network brings you Cougar Challenge every week, only on Cougars Football with Joe Muchagemba.
Please don't hate me if I get it wrong, Coach.
Back in Converse, Texas at DW Rutledge Stadium, kickoff moments away, the Cougars and the Thunderbirds. And in pregame, we mentioned Wagner 3-0 to start the year. Their opponents, though, the combined record of 2-8, and one of those two came late last night. So as I was doing the prep, it was originally going to say 1-8, but the Marshall Rams got a win on Thursday Night Football. So the real test for the Thunderbirds are going to be tonight against a very battle-tested Cougar team rolling a tough non-district schedule. This is supposed to set them up and prepare them, rolling for a district run.
And, you know, every week thus far that we've been covering the Cougars, watching them kind of grow a little bit. They've moved from 338 yards of total offense to 390 the week against San Marcos to 452 last week. So,
like the trend.
Yeah, it's you can see a greater output week after week after week. Now, just to get over that hump, as a matter of fact, that first half of last week's game, I mean, they were in it. They were down 1 going into the halftime locker room. Of course, Madison made some adjustments, which would take a toll in the second half. But Canyon's right there. Canyon's right there. They just have to put a couple of things together, and we're looking forward to tonight's contest.
We'll see what tonight holds for us. It's artificial next turf here at DW Rutledge Stadium. There is no logo in the end zones, and at midfield is the Judson ISD logo. The Cougars are in their road jerseys, red pants, white shirts, red numbers, white helmet with the red bar down the middle, and the interlocking red CC on either side. Wagner in their home jerseys, black pants, red jerseys, black numbers, black helmets with the red Thunderbird jet in front of a Motion W. Enough of a change in the logo to avoid the trademark lawyers from the University of Wisconsin. So good for them, but that is the logo on either side for Wagner. Wagner won the toss, elected to defer, so the Cougars will receive the kickoff going left to right, and the right of us, Roland, is the south end zone, and there's a little bit of a breeze. I guess we could call it a fall breeze now officially today, coming out of the south. Out of the south.
Yeah, gentle breeze, as the PA announcer was mentioning, about 16 miles an hour on that, and 84 degrees at kickoff.
Beautiful night for high school football, the start of District 27 6A, and we're glad you're with us here across the Cougars Network. In deep receiving for the Cougars on the near side hash is Vance McKay. On the far side, we have a new return man. It is not Dallin Watanabe. I have 48, Zach Shaw on the far sideline. The far hash. Teeing the ball up is number 99, Joksan Viodalid, the senior kicker for Wagner. Not too often, Roland, you see number 99. It's part of the kicker's number, but we get that tonight.
Right. You know, something is escaping me. It seems as though I've ran across a couple in my many years of watching football, but it's escaping me right now.
Well, my good friend at the University of Texas, former kicker and punter Greg Johnson, wore the number 97, and so he's one of the few kickers I knew that wore the number 90, or in the 90s at least. Viodalid has the ball teed up. He's going to have a 10-yard charge into this one, kind of a toe poke, but sends this from right to left as Shaw will take it at the goal line on the far sideline across the 15, 10, 20. Across the 25 to the actually gets stuck and thrown down at the 25. Not a lot of running room there as the Cougars will get the ball 1st and 10 from that spot.
Now it's time to see what Xavier Perez can get started and get the momentum. You know, they've struck fast coming out of all 3 games. That offense has been able to strike fast and move the football. See if they can keep that same procedure going on tonight's district opener.
2 running backs on either side of Perez, and you're just going to have to bear with me here. My roster is not updated, and that is number 46 for Canyon. And Roland, I do not have a 46 on my roster, so.
Savion Jarrett
We'll have Jarrett to the right of Perez. They fake it to him on a play action pass and going down the far sideline. Ball out of the outstretched hands of Fabian Facundo on the far sideline. Incomplete, set up 2nd and 10.
Oh, that was a beautiful pass. Another step, and Facundo would have been right under that. Just a little overthrown.
Trying to go over the top on the opening play of the ball game. 2nd and 10 for the Cougars from the 26. Quick to the line with the Cougars, and we have some flags here early. I didn't think Wagner was set, and we'll see what this flag is. It's going to actually go against the Cougars, Roland. It'll be an illegal procedure penalty, so knock Canyon back 5 yards.
And sometimes that can be the minus in that quick executing offense. So that's another thing that the Cougars are going to have to do this evening. Didn't mention the pregame, but try to cut down on the penalties.
2 weeks in a row had 6 penalties. Again, last week. Handoff to Haney coming to the near side. Another flag down across the 25. Haney lowers his shoulder. We'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, but Roland, we just started to talk about the penalties. One on the last play and another flag here on this one.
Oh, and I should call an offside that time, I guess, on the Cougar offense. So yeah, gotta watch the miscues. That they will come back to bite you.
Must have had a player in the neutral zone. We'll see. It'll cost the Cougars 5 yards. Actually, this will be 10. Down to the 11. So he gave the offsides hand on the hip call, Roland, but I think he meant holding in that spot. And it'll be 2nd and a country mile for the Cougars. Officially 25. Got to get to the 36. Out of the gun again. Handoff faking to Jarrett as Perez will go up the middle on a quarterback sneak up to the 15. And Roland, I think we know what this drive will hold for the Canyon Cougars. I think they just want to get Jacob Martinez some breathing room for a possible upcoming punt.
Yeah, get him a little real estate behind him. So
you certainly don't want to turn the ball over this deep in Thunderbird territory, or check that in their own territory, turn the ball over to the Thunderbirds. Don't want to do that. On 3rd and 21, bat to pass is Perez. Little out route on the far side is caught by Farr, and Farr will go out of the bounds at the 22, shy of the original line of scrimmage, and some breathing room for the Canyon punter, Jacob Martinez, on 4th down. What a year Martinez is having, averaging 36 yards punting, rolling 6 inside the 20.
Let's see if that leg of Martinez's can pin him back on this one.
We need a big one here as the Wagner return man is standing at his own 40. Snap back to Martinez. It is a low end-over-end kick that gets a T-bird bounce at the 42. Did not even make it past the midfield mark. Rolls backwards inside the 40 before finally being down. That is a 20-yard punt from Jacob Martinez. Would have been enough for a first down, for whatever that's worth, but it's going to set up good field position for the Wagner Thunderbirds and our first look at their quarterback, Tobias Weaver.
And here comes Tobias Weaver, as we were mentioning. Doing a good job thus far this season, especially running the football. That seems to be the output of the Thunderbird offense.
Little wing T look. Sends a man in motion. They fake the ball up the middle, and here's Weaver trying the right side. Gets to the secondary, breaks a tackle, falls forward to the 29. Should be a gain of 10 and a T-bird first down, but you saw some explosive there rolling.
Yeah, big open field tackle that time by Vance McKay, putting the stop on Tobias Weaver for Wagner. But that'll move the chains.
This wing T option look, plus being high in the press box and black numbers on red jerseys, is going to be tough for us. So bear with us as there's some early movement on that offensive line, and the turnover bug seems to be contagious. The penalty bug seems to be contagious as the Thunderbirds are now flagged for an illegal procedure penalty. Move the ball back to the Cougar 34-yard line. 10:41 left to go in the opening period. First possession for Wagner, moving right to left. From the Cougar 34, man in motion. They pitch it to him. That is 11 Walker trying to turn the corner. There's nothing doing there. What a tackle by Eric Taylor. It's going to go down for a loss of 3.
Oh, Eric Taylor rising to the occasion, making a big stop on the Wagner running back that time, and we're going to need to see more of that from this Cougar defense.
Let's monitor this, Roland. I would have tried one play on Taylor to see what he could do, and then after that, everything from my playbook would go opposite of that man. Now 2nd and 18 for Wagner. From the Cougar 37-yard line, and there's defensive line movement. I think Wagner held their water, and contact was made, and that is the indication. So as soon as a good play happens defensively to push Wagner back further behind the chains, here comes a penalty from Canyon, an offsides penalty that will give Wagner a 2nd down and 13. 3rd penalty on the night already for Canyon. New line of scrimmage is the 32. Send a man in motion, that's Walker. They give it to the fullback, is Fate, and the pitch goes to Walker on the option, the 3rd option there. Goes down the sideline across the 20, is pushed out of bounds, but I think he's going to be shy of the 1st down. They'll mark it at the 21.
Strung it out just enough to make the the defensive front come in and commit to the quarterback, and he released it just in time to pick up positive yardage for Wagner.
3rd down opportunity for this Cougar defense. Can they get a stop here? 3rd and 2 from the 21-yard line. Under center is Weaver. He'll take it. Come to the receiver on the near side on a little end around. The Cougars are there. That is Luis Olivo Blanco, but I think Blanco had enough to turn the corner, got to the 16 and enough for a T-Bird 1st down.
Fansteel with the stop that time for the Cougars, but as you were mentioning, not before Wagner does pick up a 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 16. 9:39 left to go, opening period, no score. Wagner is threatening. Weaver now back to pass. They'll sprint him out to the right. Taylor is there to collapse the pocket and force him back to the inside. The Cougars make a good stand there. No gain as Weaver fights just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Good heads-up tackle once again. We see Eric Taylor getting up from the bottom of that pile, among others.
You know what I saw there, Roland, is not overzealous pursuit from Taylor. You're in the right spot. You've already blown up the pocket. Now force him, funnel him into more help, and that's exactly what happened there on some nice gang tackling by the Cougar defense. Hard count there by Weaver to get Canyon to jump, but no contact made, so we'll keep it here. 2nd down and 10. There's flags down as the ball will be faked. Come to the near side is Weaver. We'll see what the penalty is as Weaver gets down to the 12.
Fansteel, got back to him to trip him up. And we'll check this penalty marker.
I didn't see it was not enough to stop play, but this is going to be an illegal procedure penalty. I wonder if it was just a misalignment there by the Thunderbirds offensive line. Well, what it is, Roland, it's a 5-yard penalty against Wagner.
Well, there you go. It brings up a 2nd and what about 15?
2nd and 15 officially at the 21. Line to gate is the Cougars 6. Opening period, opening possession for Wagner as Canyon was forced to go 3 and out on theirs. Weaver under center, sends a man in motion. Walker from left to right, fake the pitch to Walker, and the Cougars are there to tackle him from behind. Reagan Hopper, the defensive end, gets the sack on Tobias Weaver. What a play there defensively.
Reagan Hopper, as you're mentioning, a 5'11", 175-pound junior come up from his defensive line position. Big heads-up play by the Cougar defenseman.
Wagner 1 for 1 on 3rd downs on this possession. They have another opportunity at 3rd and 16. And a weak field goal kicker from what we saw in pregame. So perhaps 2 downs to get 1st down here. We'll see how this goes. Now out of the pistol, look for Weaver. Sprint out to the right. He'll stay in the pocket and come to the backside. And that ball is low and away from his intended receiver. It looked like coverage was there. Either way, it'll be 4th down after the incompletion. Intended receiver there is 88, Josh Cobbs, the 185-pound sophomore receiver, has 7 catches on the year, 186 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, it's a 4th down, and it looks like the offensive unit is out there, even on a 4th and 16. A lot of confidence.
What we saw in pregame, that kicker's a little shaky, so they'll think that the odds are in their favor, keeping their offense out there. 4th and 16. Weaver, bat to pass, flush out of the pocket, coming to the near side, makes a man miss at the 23, another man miss at the 20, still on his feet, and finally Canyon is there to corral him. Good tackle late by Canyon, and I believe the ball will go over on downs, yes.
Once again, another big stop by Reagan Hopper as he comes over to make a stop. The Canyon defense got enough pursuit to slow Weaver down just enough, and then Hopper to the rescue, making the stop. It'll be first down, Cougars.
So the Canyon defense holds there, and the offense will get the ball back, 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line. Two running backs on both sides of Perez, who has a clap of his hand asking for the football. Gets it, fakes it to the running back, coming to the near side on a keeper. Makes a man miss on a nice juke at the 22. Falls forward across the 25 to the 26. Good play on first down. Some positive yards there for Canyon offensively.
Nice run by Xavier for Cedric Hernandez. 250-pound senior defensive end made the stop.
Two receivers to the left for Perez. Farr is in the slot, and Lane Young is the far receiver to the left. Give the handoff to Jarrett this time, and Jarrett gets stuck at the 25. Ball comes out late, and we'll see what happens here. Pile of players at the 25-yard line.
It appeared the Cougars fell on it.
I think they did. Isaiah Rivera, the 5'10", 155-pound senior, falls on it, and the Cougars avoid disaster there as Jarrett put the ball on the ground. Third and 1. Well, hold on. What's going on here? The referees have now overturned that call, and the Cougar offense is forced off the field. They have now given the indication that the ball will go over to the Thunderbirds. Roland, that it was strange. You had the referee signal Canyon ball, respot it, and now signal it Wagner ball.
Well, I guess from our vantage point, we couldn't quite it appeared from all indications that the Cougars had retained possession. However,
home cooking here in Converse for Wagner. They get the ball after the fumble, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the Cougar 25-yard line. Not a good start offensively for the Cougars in this ball game. 1st and 10, Wagner moving right to left. Send a man in motion. It's his keeper on the option. Weaver right up the middle across the 20. Gain tackle down to the 17. It's a good gain on first down of about 8.
Taylor and Fansteel came over to make the stop on the Wagner quarterback, but not before he got away for about 7. Looks like 7 or 8.
Yeah, they'll give them 7 officially to make it 2nd and 3. Another bend but don't break situation for this Cougar defense. We've seen them make stops like this throughout this young year, and an opportunity to prove themselves again here. 6:18 left to go, first quarter, no score. Second possession for Wagner as the snap is back to Weaver. He wasn't expecting it, so he'll fall down on it. There was some early movement on the line, both offensively and defensively, with the flag stay in the pocket. It's a wasted down for Wagner. I think it'll go officially for no gains to bring up 3rd and 3. We've seen that Wagner will be content with using 4 downs down in the red zone. So even though this is a 3rd down opportunity for the Cougars, you can expect the offense for Wagner to stay on it if 4th down is forced. On 3rd and 3, the option look is a keeper to Weaver, who dives forward on the near side, maybe to the 15. He needs to get exactly to 15. They're actually going to mark him half a yard short. 4th down.
And once again, Reagan Hopper with another big stop for the Cougar defense.
Nice gain so far by the 5'11", 175-pound junior. 4th and a half yard. Under center is Weaver. He'll take it and just go quarterback. See, I think he fumbled the football. I think it's a bad snap.
All indications is he did drop the football.
He
so
did.
Let's see.
And I think Wagner recovered the fumble, but it will not be enough for a first down.
Huge defensive stop that time for the Cougar D.
Well, he needed to get to the 15. That ball is short. So forgive me if I'm quick to call this as not enough for a first down. The referees will call for a measurement. The sticks are marked at the 15, and Roland, from our vantage point, again, we are high, so we don't know where the nose of that football is.
That's it. Now that front line for Canyon looked like they got enough pursuit to stop the quarterback Weaver for no gain, possibly even loss of a half a yard. But the proof is going to be in the measurement where the officials have spotted this, and I don't know.
Here comes the official measurement. He is short. By half a yard, the Cougars have held.
Huge defensive stand that time for the Cougars. Now, the trick is you've got to get the offense to feed off that. That's huge.
The Cougars defensively has forced 2 turnover on downs against this Wagner offense, and offensively just unable to get any momentum or any traction. 5:11 left to go, looking to just get into positive territory are the Cougars. Opening period, no score. Out of the gun is Perez. To the right of him is Haney. Haney will take it right up the gut and a lot of running room. Across the 20 with the shifty moves across the 50. Breaking tackles across the 30. Thrown forward just shy of the 40-yard line. Nice run up the middle, Seth Haney.
Oh, Seth Haney, big run that time. Coming over to make the stop for Wagner, that was Kevin Henderson from his linebacker position.
Gain of 23. Give the ball, fake it to Haney. Perez will roll to the left, and he is just corralled. He's actually going to give up about 7 on this one. Unable to break containment on the far sideline, and they'll drop Perez back to the 31. And Roland, I was just about to say, 4th down, so critical for this offense to get them into a rhythm. You saw they wanted to go up-tempo there, just a bad play at the bad time.
And they're declining a penalty. Apparently a motion penalty against Canyon's been declined. So, yeah, that's going to be a loss of about 7.
Play will stand. 2nd down and 17. Ball back at the 31. Need to get to the 49, just on the Cougar side of midfield in order to get the 1st down. 2 receivers here to the near side, 1 to the far. Handoff is given to Haney right up the middle. More running room. Great blocking by that Cougar offensive line across the 35 and hit forward across the 40 to the 41. Good run there. Gain of 9 for Seth Haney.
Yeah, what could have been a 3rd and real long, thanks to Haney's now only 3rd. It's relatively manageable with 3rd and 7.
Haney checks out. Worley is in. Now to the right of Perez. Perez claps his hands, gets the ball. Worley right up the middle, across the 45, lowers his shoulder, breaks out of a tackle. Now into T-Bird territory. It is a Cougar 1st down to the Wagner 46-yard line.
Big run that time for Owen Worley, as you were mentioning, 170-pound junior. Maybe he'll come in to be the third bet in this triple threat we were talking about.
Handoff, Worley again, near side, makes a man miss at the 45 and 40. Owen Worley is absolutely killing guys, breaking tackles across the 35. Closer into Wagner territory as we have a Thunderbird down here to the near side. And Roland, why don't we step aside? One, we haven't taken a break, and there's 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the 1st quarter. No score. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
Experience the best seat in every ballpark with MLB Network Strike Zone.
There it goes!
Catch baseball's biggest moments from around the league live on one channel.
You gotta be kidding me!
See the clutch hits.
It's a goner!
Great grabs.
Unbelievable!
And walk-off winners.
Game winner!
All without changing the channel.
Let's go home!
Bring home MLB Network Strike Zone. Tuesday and Friday nights, commercial-free all season long.
And welcome back to DW Rutledge Stadium as the injured Thunderbird player is getting assistance off the field. And we hope everything is okay, but what a pleasant surprise Owen Worley and Seth Haney have been having here on this 3rd possession for the Cougars, now into Wagner territory. It's 1st and 10 from the Wagner 32. Worley will get the handoff, more running room across the middle, flag down across the 25-20. Worley inside the 10 before being brought down at the ankles. Spot the ball at the 8, but we'll check the flag. And Roland, I was just about to set up praise for this Cougar offensive line. Whether or not this is a penalty against them, and there probably is, this Cougar offensive line on this drive has come to play. Plenty of running room right up the middle.
Yes, indeed. They are opening up big holes for Haney and for Worley. A couple of carries thus far on the night for Owen for 27 yards, so he's certainly making some noise out there. 8 carries, 64 yards thus far on the night for for the Cougars running the football.
It's a hold that will send Canyon back 10 yards. but keep the down first. First and 20 now at the 42. Two receivers far side, one to the near. Worley, they fake the handoff to him. Back to pass is Perez. Plenty of time as the pocket now starts to collapse. He'll tuck it and go to the left. Flushed out. He'll just going to heave it as he's going down. Nice heads-up play not to take the sack there. Incomplete pass will set up 2nd and long.
But, you know, here again, it's that offensive line that's giving Xavier all kinds of time back there. The receivers were well covered, which is what the situation was, why he couldn't find a receiver. But hats off to that O-line.
Good game so far for the Big Uglies up front. 2nd down and 20 for Canyon. Hand off to Worley, up the middle. Again, plenty of running room across the 40. Owen Worley packing a punch down to the 35-yard line. Roland, one thing that I've seen differently, first man there is not bringing Owen down, and he is getting a lot of yards after contact.
He's bouncing off of tacklers and moving those feet, picking up positive yardage.
Jacob Martinez was booming the ball during pregame, so you just need something here to make it a more manageable field goal on 3rd and 13. They give it to Owen Worley across the middle, the right side of that Cougar line, and this time first contact is made behind the line of scrimmage, and Owen falls forward to the 35, back to the line of scrimmage. Roland, this is going to be a 52-yard field goal for Martinez if they elect to put the kicker on the field. The offense will leave the field. We see Martinez, but we just have to wonder, is this going to be the field goal unit or the punt unit? And they will send Martinez back in deep punt as he will be here at the 50-yard line. He has 6 punts inside the 20 and an opportunity here to get his 7th. No return man for Wagner awaiting this punt. Back to Martinez. Calmly puts his right foot into it.
Nice
it
punt.
Bounces at the 15
nice
and gets
punt.
a gentle Cougar bounce inside the 10 and approaching the 5. It'll get down to the 5 before being downed by 36 Cole Seeley. And Roland, the battle for field position has been flipped after a 30-yard punt by Jacob Martinez.
I tell you what, they've got him, where are they going to put this, inside the 5, it looks like?
Well, much like we saw on the other end of the field, it's going to be a matter of inches.
Yeah.
Officially will be inside the 5.
Just a smooch inside the 5, so if this defense can rise to the occasion once again, as they have, they've done a pretty decent job containing that running game of Wagner thus far. We'll check some numbers here in just a moment.
1:55 left to go, opening period, no score. Wagner with the ball, now moving right to left, ball at their own 5, 95 yards away from their end zone. And so there's a motion penalty against Canyon. It's going to be a false start, so half the distance to go, and now this Cougar defense, Roland, perhaps an opportunity to get even more aggressive.
Absolutely. Yeah, as we were mentioning, big output running the football for the Thunderbirds. Thus far, only 36 yards on the ground.
Long field ahead of them on 1st and 13. From their own 2. Sends a man in motion from right to left. Option look, the Cougars are there, and Tobias Weaver, is this a safety? They had brought him back, and I think they're going to mark it. It's a safety for the Canyon Cougars.
Huge stop that time, and as a matter of fact, it's Canyon's first lead of the 2017 campaign.
It's a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 1st for those of us showing up. Roland, you're a baseball guy. I knew you'd like that.
Absolutely.
But a wonderful play. Roland, we talked about could this Cougar defense get aggressive in that scenario, and they did. They shot the gaps. It was an option look to the near side. Every man was taken, and the Cougars just had to zone in on Weaver.
Good defensive pursuit that time, but the Canyon defense has done that thus far this evening. They have been in the backfield of Wagner, kind of just shutting them down. Really, as we're mentioning, 36 yards. Now that's going to go for a loss, certainly off their average.
1:51 left to go, opening period. Canyon with a 2-0 lead after the defense forced a safety there. And Roland, that's total team play. One, your offense got in a rhythm and moved the ball downfield with some good running. Your special teams contributed with a wonderful punt, great coverage to get behind the football and down it inside the 5, and then your defense steps up and gets you points via safety. Total team effort over the past 5 or so minutes by the Canyon Cougars.
Thus far, looking at the averages per play, offensive output, Canyon is averaging about 6 yards per play to Wagner's 2.5.
Really shaking off the rust after those first 2 possessions. Valladolid will punt the ball to the far sideline. McKay has it at the 30. Good head of steam across the 45 now, across midfield and some room. 6 out of a tackle across the 40-yard line, and will go down at the Wagner 36.
You talk about unsung heroes, I would have to tip the cap to Vance McKay. I think a lot of times this season he's done well on returns. Just like right there, he's going to give that Cougar offense great field position as they're in striking distance once again.
They usually keep him here on the near side, Roland. He's always been on this side, and I think Wagner wants to kick away from him. So they snuck McKay on that far sideline, and they kicked it right to him, and he made them pay. 1st and 10 Canyon with all the momentum here at the Wagner 36 and a 2-0 lead. Haney will take the ball, tries the right side of that Cougar line, off tackle, and he gets to the line of scrimmage and falls forward down to the 35. Maybe a gain of 1 there.
Yeah, the Wagner defense was waiting for him that time. Cedric Hernandez making the stop that time on Haney.
Rivera, the lone receiver here to the near side. Colin Farr is the receiver in the slot to the left. The outside receiver is Young. Perez will work out of the shotgun with Haney to his right. Fake it to Haney. Bat to pass is Perez looking down the field. Shifts out of the pocket there to the left side, heaves the ball downfield, has 2 receivers there, and none of them can make the catch. It was too tall for Young and just out of the sliding grasp of Farr, and it'll go incomplete.
How did you refer to them as the big uglies, that front line? I love it, but I tell you what, they are giving Xavier all kinds of time to hang in there and try to find his receivers.
Credit Wagner's secondary, Roland. They've done a good job of keeping the receivers in check.
They're keeping them covered.
Canyon 1 for 3 on 3rd downs tonight as they're out of the pistol this time. They give the ball to Haney with the head of steam. Tries the left side, spins out of a tackle, and then into one. Across the 35 into the 34-yard line, and we'll see Jacob Martinez once again. And again the question, will we see him punting the ball or kicking a field goal? The Cougar offense has left the field, so I think this is going to be a punt formation. And how about a roll the dice here if you're Coach Joe Muchagimba? I would like to see a fake in this one. You got a lot of momentum. I know it's not a reasonable down in distance. There's 8 yards for a 1st down.
Well,
just saying.
You never can tell.
Whoever's listening, I'm just saying. Martinez has it. It's a right-footed kick, high, and it will bounce away from the return man, take a Wagner bounce and a Cougar bounce. At the 15-yard line, it rolls dead and downed. And Wagner will take over 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. 18 seconds left to go in a weird first quarter. It was ugly to start for this Cougar team as they punted the ball on a 3-and-out where they went backwards and then fumbled the ball. And then finally the offense got into a rhythm, and the defense got points on the board. 18 seconds left in this first quarter. Wagner with the ball, 1st and 10 at their own, marked it at the 16. Man in motion, goes to the right, then comes back to the left, and Weaver will come up, point at the Cougar defense, and get another play from the sideline. And actually, Coach Charles Bruce is going to take the first timeout of the night. 18 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and Roland, we talked about it, just a funky game. It's really tough to get into a rhythm calling these games where you're splitting time between ugly 3-and-outs that go backwards and then wonderful sustained drives that go almost the length of the field.
You know, 73 yards thus far running the football for Canyon against 33 for Wagner. Wagner, as we mentioned pregame and on up to this point, they're known for running the football. Perhaps the turning point in this one could be, now that it seems as though the Thunderbird defense is keying on the Cougar running game, can they get that passing game going?
1st and 10, Wagner going right to left here, 18 seconds before the end of the first quarter. Ball set for play as the teams come to the line. Tobias Weaver, we don't see this very often working under center, but for this option-style offense, they need it that way. Option look to the left. Reversing his field is Weaver, and a host of Cougars are there. Swarming defense there, and I see Josh Heiser making first contact.
Heiser did. Heiser got a good hit on him. Also coming over was Dallin Watanabe with the big stop.
That is the end of the first quarter. We'll step aside here on the Cougars Network. Our score after one, Canyon 2, Wagner 0.
The wait is over. Chip and Jo are back with more Fixer Upper. I love you.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Here we go. You slayed it.
Whoa!
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 578. GVTC, just plain smart.
Ben Campos, Roland Ruiz with you with the Washington Bear. Austin Milam, our spotter statistician. As second quarter play begins, Roland, I don't think we've talked enough about how great this Cougar defense has played. Forced 2 turnover on downs deep with their backs against the wall, and then a safety for points.
Well, I was going to say, the proof's in the pudding. How great have they played? They're the ones that got the points on the board for Canyon thus far this evening. And as we said, kind of, I guess, jokingly, but honestly, it's the first lead of the season for the Cougars.
And it comes by way of defensive points. Second and 10 Wagners. They're moving now left to right. Ball at the 16. Out of the pistol look is Weaver. One receiver either way. Quick curl route to the far sideline is away from his target and incomplete. Pass intended for DeMarcus Hendricks, the sophomore receiver. Now 3rd and 10, and again, a third down opportunity for this Canyon defense. Just been outstanding tonight early on.
Well, hats off to him. It doesn't seem like Wagner's able to capitalize passing.
There's some movement here as there's no flag, and finally play is stopped. Eric Taylor jumped and got into the Wagner backfield and then came back. It looks like he did make contact, and that is the indication, offsides against Canyon. You know, for a moment there, the refs didn't blow the whistle, and I thought he just got to the backfield in between linemen and did it carefully.
There again, another bad miscue. Change it from a 3rd and 10 to a 3rd and 5.
That much more manageable for Wagner. Weaver under center. Man in motion is Walker. Again, the Cougars jump. It's a free play as Weaver will go up the middle and get 1 yard. We'll see what the indication is. Offsides again for the Canyon Cougars. So you go from 3rd and 10 and you give them a first down via penalty. That is a tough situation there for Canyon.
Wow, it has been penalty-ridden for Canyon thus far in the first half as well.
Already 6 penalties tonight, Roland, and we are barely 5 seconds into the second quarter. It's a Canyon team that had 6 last week, and that hurt them, and then 6 the previous week versus San Marcos that hurt them. On 1st and 10, it's an option look to the left side, and Josh Heiser is there to bring down Tobias Weaver. No gain officially. Nice play from his defensive tackle position.
Absolutely. He got past that guard, was in the Wagner backfield before the quarterback Weaver probably even had the football. He was there.
You know, it looked to be a horse collar tackle, Roland. You're just not used to seeing it 0.3 seconds after the ball is snapped.
No, that was fast.
2nd and 10 for Wagner on the far hash. Weaver under center. Walker sent in motion from left to right. They fake it. Now a pitch to Walker, and he drops the football. Fumble. The Canyon Cougars are there. It's Fansteel on the far sideline. He has the ball, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 5-yard line to the 2.
The Cougar defense to the rescue once again. Zach Fansteel right in the right place at the right time to get that fumble and give the Cougar offense the football deep in Wagner territory.
It was a good pitch. It was helmet level of Walker, Gerald Walker, and Roland, he just went right through his hands.
He might have just taken his eyes off the ball.
Looking upfield, of course, Fansteel would have been there to apply pressure. So the Cougars get a break. 1st and goal at the 2 with a 2-0 lead. Hand off to Worley. Try the right side. Owen Worley spins into the end zone. Touchdown Canyon. Roland, I get excited, and I combine his first and last name and call him Worley.
That's okay. Trademark it. I mean, this could be big.
Owen. Well, the good news is I've had plenty of reason to get excited when he was running the football today. He's into the end zone, and Canyon has an 8-0 lead pending this extra point by Jacob Martinez. Snap down, kick up, and it is good. 11:09 left to go in the second quarter. Our new score, Canyon 9, Wagner 0. You're listening to Cougar Football on the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor.
Welcome back to DW Rutledge Stadium as we are 51 seconds into the second quarter, and the Cougars strike after the defense forces a fumble to set up great field position. It's one play, it's 2 yards. It's Owen Worley in, and Roland, we mentioned this in pregame, Seth Haney perhaps robbed of another touchdown, another opportunity for a touchdown. The bell cow unable to find the end zone so far in 2017, but his teammate Owen will take it in there from 2 yards out, and with the extra point, Canyon has a 9-0 lead.
And who's to say how this will work out later on in the football game? You know,
keep an eye on that.
If the defense begins to key on Worley a little bit, well, that just opens up more of a door for Seth.
We mentioned this a couple times in their game versus Madison. Just would be nice to have a third option of this Cougar running attack, and I think Owen, from not only the great offensive line push that he's seen, but his ability to get hit and continue to move forward is becoming a very viable third option out of this Cougar rushing attack.
Owen, 5 carries thus far on the night for 36 yards. This has got to be doing wonders for his confidence.
Return man back at the 5 as Martinez has the ball teed up, sends this one deep back to the 5 and back to the goal line. The return man muffs it, and the ball goes directly out of bounds. It'll be spotted at the 3-yard line, and I can't tell who the return man is. I think it's 24. That's Isaiah Leday, and he got a talking to from Coach Bruce here on the sideline.
I guess so. And, you know, case in point, granted, we're just underway second period, but, you know, the momentum has clearly been on the side of Canyon thus far this evening. And, as you said, take pre-district records and just throw them out the window. This is a brand new season.
You look at who Wagner played. Again, Laredo United South, Taft, and Marshall combined 2-8 on the year. And you look at those guys that Canyon has to play. And in Cedar Ridge, a team that's going to threaten for their district championship up in Austin, and San Marcos, who has a shot to go deep in the playoffs, and their lone blemish came to the New Braunfels Unicorns, no harm there. And then, of course, last week the Madison Mavericks always contending for a District 26 6A title, district title contenders in the path of Canyon, and they've withstood their punches, and they are definitely looking the better team tonight with the 9-0 lead. 1st and 10, Wagner from their own 4. Weaver under center. They hand it off to a wide receiver end around. The Cougars are disciplined, and there across the 5 is number 4, Carlton Black, and it'll be a gain of 5 down to the 9.
And Fansteel came over and hit him. He hit him so hard it hurt me. I mean, that was just a pop.
2nd down and 5 for Wagner. Again, they run an option-style offense. They don't like throwing the football, so if Canyon could continue to expand this lead, they will take Wagner out of their comfort zone for sure. In motion is Walker. The option look goes to the far sideline, and Weaver is upended. It's a great hit on that far sideline. I think that's Fansteel again from his safety position. It's going to be a gain of 3 down to the 12.
And, you know, if you stop their force, which is their quarterback, Weaver, as it looks like they have so far, 13 carries for 24 yards for the Wagner quarterback. That's saying a lot for that Cougar defense.
3rd and 2. Can the Cougar defense do it again? Wagner from their own 12, moving left to right. Man in motion is Walker. As he comes back to his original place in the formation as Wagner gets a new play. 6 on the play clock, ticking down 4-3. He's got to go here. Weaver 1-0. He is unable to get it. I thought he got it for a second there, Roland, but the referees were spot on that. A delay of game penalty, and this third and 2 becomes 3rd and 7.
Well, another inopportune miscue this time for Wagner. They have struggled this first half. I mean, it's all kudos in the world to what the Canyon is doing out there. But here again, inopportune miscues for Wagner has certainly hurt them.
2 receivers to the near side. Weaver under center, lone back. Option look here to the near side. He has to pitch it early, and Canyon is there. What a play by Eric Taylor to drop the running back to the 2.
You can't help but get excited over something like that. Eric Taylor just once again keying on that running game of Wagner, coming over and making a big stop. This ought to give the offense the football again in real good field position.
Folks, I can't begin to describe how difficult that is, to get in a position to make the quarterback pitch and then make the tackle on the running back while playing option defense. Bad snap to Villalobos. The ball is down. He has to take it and is forced out of bounds. Another safety for this Canyon defense.
How many games have you seen with 2 safeties?
2 safeties in 2 quarters.
Wow.
If you had that bet in Vegas, dinner is on you.
But you ain't kidding.
A bad snap. Sorry, I called him Villalobos. It's Valladolid, the kicker. It was a bad snap to him, and there's nothing really he could do with it there at that point. He goes down to pick it up, and actually rolling at that moment, his back foot went on the back line to officially get the safety, and then the Cougar defense was just there because the whistle hadn't blown, and you got to play to the whistle.
You know, he had the 10-yard cushion there in the end zone, but still, it's just almost claustrophobic to have to punt from that perspective. So, yeah, the bad snap certainly didn't help matters either.
Well, having been a punter in that situation, well, I'll tell you, taking a safety on a bad snap is not necessarily the worst thing that could happen.
Right.
You know, he could have tried to pick it up and run. It could have been blocked. Cougars could have fell on it. It's actually the best of a bad situation.
Exactly. The ball was on the ground, so it could have resulted in a Cougar recovery for a touchdown.
New scores 11-0. Canyon on top as they send their return unit back on. As Valladolid will have the ball and just punt it. It's a high end-over-end kick. And McKay will have it. Come to the near side now into Wagner territory and retreats back. Good tackling there on the coverage team by Wagner. It'll be spotted at the Cougar 49-yard line in great field position for this offense who scored a touchdown on their last play out.
That's right. That was Victor Brown from his special teams position coming over and making the stop that time for Wagner. But as they're spotting it at the Canyon 49-yard line, so just a little bit over half the field the offense has to go.
8:42 left to go, second period. Canyon with the ball on an 11-0 lead, moving now right to left. Perez has the plays. Haney is to the right of him, out of the gun. Option look. Perez keeps it all the way to the right side into T-Bird territory, down to the 47, gain of 4 on first down.
Good yardage that time, and Xavier just figures, well, listen, you know, Owen's running the football. We got Seth running the football. Let me get in on this a little bit. And he did a good job picking up yardage there.
Second down and 6 for Canyon at the Wagner 47. 2 receivers here to the near side is Young and Farr. They hand the ball off to Haney, who tries the right side of the Cougar line. Maybe 2 down to the 45 as the T-Birds were waiting for him there. It'll set up 3rd and 5, manageable here on 3rd down.
Absolutely. Running game working well for Canyon. Thus far, 79 yards on the ground.
Time ticking now, under 8 minutes before the half. Handoff goes to Haney. Up the middle, he's got running room. Should be enough for a Cougar first down as he gets to the 41, and the far side official will indeed give him enough for a new set of downs.
Good hard running by the Cougars, and they may be wearing that, I know it's still early, but wearing that defense down just a little bit.
I was thinking that as well. 1st and 10 Canyon, and all their stuff really rolling has been up the middle, whether it's Perez or Worley or Haney. Haney will get it again, tries the middle, bounces it out to the right side, across the 40 as he was hit, dragging defenders forward across the 35. Heavy running there by Seth. It's going to be a gain of 8.
Oh, big right now. They're doing a great job running the football. Don't be surprised if they're not going to hit with a pass here in just a couple of minutes.
2nd down and 1, officially a gain of 9 for Seth. Now to the left of Perez, working out of the gun. They fake it to Haney, back to pass. Down the seam is Pape. Pape juggles the ball, and it comes incomplete. Roland, you guessed it. They got the Wagner defense to suck in. The play action got them to bite down more, and it was Trevor Pape down the seam. He just couldn't haul it in.
I'll give you one better than that. I've been thinking Trevor Pape all night because they haven't used him for, it seemed like last game. Said Pape is due.
No catches recorded by Trevor last game. You get him involved. Handoff to Haney on 3rd and 1. Across the 30, enough for another Cougar first down inside the 30 to the 29. A gain of 3 and a first down upcoming. Roland Canyon's offense stuck in this weird thing. You want to run time off, but this is an offense that's designed to get in a rhythm and get to the line quickly.
That's right, but running that football, you'll eat that clock.
Back to pass, Perez. Going down the seam once again. Too tall for his intended receiver. That's Callan Farr, the 5'9 sophomore, into triple coverage. So perhaps a good overthrow there by Xavier.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to watch. I guess they say when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad. Might have seen it there.
Well, a good miss in that situation. 6:36 left to go, 2nd quarter. Canyon up 11-0. Handoff to Worley up the middle. Plenty of running room to the 25-yard line before he got first contact, and will fall forward to the 24. It's a gain of 5.
The thing I like about Worley running the football this evening is he's ducking his head and he's just going in the middle of that line, saying this is it, boom.
Clock is not running. It's still stuck at 6 minutes and 30 seconds. But it's 3rd and 5. Fake it to Worley. Quick slant on the outside is caught by Facundo. Across the 15 as Facundo is drugged down to the 14. It's enough for a Cougar first down. Quick strike. Perez to Facundo.
Once again, Xavier's got that offense moving.
Clock now running, which is good. 6:20 left to go before the half. Perez back up to the line, asks for it, and it's going to be a flag and an illegal procedure penalty against Canyon. The lone blemish, I would say, in this 2nd quarter for the Canyon Cougars, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. It comes via penalty. Now they're 7th.
Penalties. Get them all out of your system right now.
Maybe that's what it was. It was so plagued in that 1st quarter.
That was it. See, you have a hanky-free 2nd half this time for the Cougars.
That'd be nice. Worley gets the handoff. Nice move at the line of scrimmage, and there's plenty of room. Owen Worley into the open and into the end zone. Touchdown, Canyon, from 19 yards out.
It's the Owen Worley show here tonight.
Owen Worley, 2 touchdowns tonight. And Roland, there was one-on-one coverage here on the near side, and he just left him flat-footed. What a move at the line of scrimmage.
He did. That was just great heads-up running by the young man.
Martinez on to attempt the extra point. Snap down, kick up. Kick is catapulted through. And nice catch by the drum line over there in the back practicing for Wagner. It is good, our new score. Canyon 18, Wagner 0. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
Well, I don't think so.
It's a good deal, right?
Coach, this is a 2538, 37 horsepower, most lift capacity of any tractor in its class, and no depth fluid.
Well, the best part is it's the right color.
.556 left to go before halftime, and as we mentioned, it's been the Owen Worley show here for the Canyon Cougars. Great job running the football, scoring his 2nd rushing touchdown just moments ago. Extra point good to put Canyon up 18-0 over Wagner.
You know, Roland, sometimes as we go through a football season, we fail to allow players to get better. You know, we were surprised here by Owen Worley's performance. Given from what we saw from him early in the year, we thought maybe he's just a breather back to give Seth some room, but he has definitely improved over this short season. As Martinez has this kickoff, high spinning ball, drives a return man inside the end zone. He has it cleanly and coming up the near sideline across 15-20. Finally upended. It's a nice tackle on special teams by Vance McKay.
There's that guy again, Vance McKay.
Doing it on kickoff coverage as well as return. And Wagner will get the ball 1st and 10 from the 25. That last scoring drive for Canyon, 2 plays, 51 yards. Took 2 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock.
You just got to love what you're seeing from this Canyon squad thus far this evening. Still plenty of time left to go in the ball game, but boy, just the way they've come out and made a presence out here. Man, you just gotta really admire what these young men are doing.
Complete ball game so far by the Canyon Cougars. Wagner has it 1st and 10, now trailing 18-0. From the 25-yard line, sends a man in motion, option look, gives it to the first option on a little belly dive. That's number 30, Richard Casada, the 154-pound sophomore.
Of course, Josh Heiser making the stop that time for Canyon after a gain of only a couple.
Give him 2 yards down to the 27 as Wagner is back to the line. Again, this little option T look for the T-Birds. Near hash. Sends a man in motion from left to right. Check that right to left. Motion man comes back to his original line of scrimmage, and Weaver has a new play. Now from left and right, a man is in motion as they give it to the belly dive again. First option. Again, it's Casada. And again, Casada maybe gets 2 down to the 29. Clock continuing to go now. 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter.
Tough stay-at-home defense by the Cougars as running off the field right now. We see James Perez. And coming on to replace him, number 43, Hunter Mason.
Getting Mason a look here. On 3rd and 6 from their own 29, moving left to right. They fake the pitch to the outside. Weaver's back to pass. The Cougars are there and collapse the pocket. Ball on the ground as there's a fumble, and the Cougars have jumped on the pile. We'll see what the indication is. Referee on the near side holds up a fist. That will indicate 4th down and a Wagner retention of the ball. Back to the 26, but the Cougars there forcing another fumble.
This Cougar defense has been tenacious, to say the least, thus far here in the first half.
The drive charts for Wagner: turnover on downs, safety, fumble that led to a Cougar touchdown, and another safety. 4th and 9 for Wagner as Weaver will drop into deep punt and let this one go. It's an end-over-end punt. Line drive that gets into Cougar territory, still rolling across the 45 and down at the Cougar 43-yard line. Roland, what else? What other superlative can we say for this Cougar defense?
I don't know. Give me a few minutes. I'll come up with something. But they've been relentless. They've just been opportunistic. They've been taking advantage of the situation and. Wow, to think the job of shutting down a high-powered running offense, and they certainly have this evening, and we'll give you some numbers momentarily.
Wagner had been averaging 413 yards a game, to give you some perspective. 1st and 10, Perez, handoff to Haney on the far sideline. Haney unable to turn the corner as some spirited play by this Wagner defense sends Haney for a loss of 1. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Okay, and you were mentioning the average, what now, running the football?
Running the football, Wagner has rushed for 311 yards a game, 414 total yards of offense.
39 yards on the ground thus far for this high-powered running offense.
On 2nd and 11, handoff to Haney up the middle and some running room. Haney breaks out of a tackle at the 45, still on his feet as he trucks over 2 defenders at midfield, falls into Wagner territory at the 49.
I love to watch him run the football. Seth just has a lot of confidence out there when he's carrying that football.
3rd and 2, now 3 minutes left to go before the half. More Haney up the middle, more tough yards, and more yards after contact. Contact made at the line of scrimmage, but Haney will fall forward for the 2 needed and another Cougar 1st down. Cougar offense now in rhythm as they were able to shake off a a strange start that they had and finally get into a rhythm. Special teams clicking, defensive clicking. The Cougars are playing their best football of the year at just the right time. 1st and 10, Canyon. Quick pitch to the far sideline. That's Callan Farr. Has a block, turns the corner across the 35-30, and finally rushed out of bounds by the pursuit. They'll spot him at the 25. Nice, easy pitch and catch to the outside.
It's like the great analysts would say, you use the run to set up the pass, and that's exactly what Canyon is taking advantage of right now. Great job by Farr.
Gain of 22 and stop the clock at 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Ball at the Wagner 25. Hand off to Haney. Tries the right side this time, running through guys as he is finally taken 4 Thunderbirds to bring him down, and they get him at the 20. It's a nice gain of 5. A Thunderbird has to exit because his helmet came off, so we have a replacement on that defensive line front that is already bailing water. Couple more substitutions on that defensive line front for Wagner. 2nd down and 5 for Canyon at the 20. Hand off to Haney, again up the middle, and again Haney has some running room. First contact made, but he's still dragging players. I believe that's going to be a gain of 3, all 3 after contact.
Some tough yardage. He is the leading ground gainer thus far on the evening for the Cougars.
Substitutions back into the original players for Wagner. Perez back to pass. Tries his safety bow. That's Farr. Farr makes the man miss at the line of scrimmage and gets forward across the 15. Should be enough for a Cougar first down as Callan Farr able to shake off one-on-one coverage and get upfield.
If he can get that connection to Farr going just like he did last week, that's another potent weapon in that Cougar offensive arsenal.
They spot it at the 15. Another set of downs for Canyon. Minute 13 left. Haney gets the handoff and will go up the middle. This time will fall forward for maybe 1 yard gain. And the Canyon Cougars will take their first timeout. 1 minute, 7 seconds left to go before the half. Canyon with an 18-0 lead and full grasp of this football game, Roland.
And this has been a Canyon-dominated football game thus far here in the first half. The trick is going to be to maintain the same focus in the second half, coming back and making sure that defense is keying on the running game of the Wagner Thunderbirds.
Seth Haney getting the bulk of the carries on this possession, so a good timeout to perhaps give him a quick breather. And, of course, I say that as the Canyon Cougars break the huddle on the far sideline, and it's Owen Worley. But back to Haney. 14 carries, 72 yards. Roland, it's an average of over 5 a carry, which is good for this Canyon running attack.
Absolutely. Been a big night. 26 carries, 141 yards thus far on the ground for Canyon.
Minute 7 left to go before the half. Canyon up 18-0 as we thank you for joining us on the first official Friday night of fall in Converse, Texas, here on the Cougars Network. If you're listening to us on our YouTube channel, just go ahead and click that red subscriber button. Makes everybody happy around here when you do that.
Yes it does.
The ball is resting at the 14-yard line going in for Canyon, moving right to left. As the referee is coming to the near sideline to talk to Wagner head coach Charles Bruce. And everybody relaying information.
Sorting a few things out, I'll pass along a couple of scores before halftime.
Busy night in district.
I tell you, Judson leads New Braunfels 35-0 with 5:35 left to go before halftime.
Did not see that one coming. Hand off to Facundo on a little jet sweep. Now he's faking the pass. He does pass at the last second, and that ball goes incomplete. Good play by Fabian. He was bottled up at the 20. Would have been a loss of 5, but he lets it go at the last second.
And, of course, from a wide receiver position, Facundo Matt will be the backup quarterback and come in, so not a bad situation to have him throw that option pass.
There is an injured T-Bird on the far sideline at the 15 as he will require medical attention. And Roland, going back to that Judson New Braunfels score, if you told me Judson had scored 35 points in the first quarter, I would have believed you, but I would not have believed that New Braunfels, from what they've shown us in the first 3 ball games, would be left at 0.
This Judson bunch, I tell you, is a machine. We'll be looking forward to seeing them a little bit later on this season. But they have been playing some high-powered football thus far on the season. 35-0, as we mentioned, with like 5.5 minutes left to go there before halftime. Clements on top of East Central, 14-0. That is a halftime score. At halftime as well, it's made it. It's Smithson Valley on top of the Steel Knights by a score of 20-14.
And, of course, our colleagues, our sister station over there at the Rangers Network, getting a good game. Just down the road from us, as everybody's kind of on the road here, whether you're on the Ranger Network or the Cougars Network, we're here in Converse, and right down the road is Shirts, and that's where the Steel Knights are hosting Smithson Valley. So it's a road trip weekend for Wick Productions as we're all here and supporting our Comal ISD teams. The injured Thunderbird is now off the field as he required some assistance, but looked like he's putting weight evenly on both feet, so that's good for him. And the Cougars back to live action, 3rd down and 9. Going in, handoff to Worley. Worley trucking players across the 10, still on his feet as he's finally brought down at the 7-yard line. Owen Worley, some hard running right up the middle. And in the past, Roland, couple of possessions, it has been too far for a field goal, and I think Coach Mushigimba is looking at this and say we're too close for a field goal. Let's keep the pressure going. 4th down and 2 from the 7.
Well, sure, offense is still on the field, and the clock continues to run now with just under half a minute left to go in the first half.
There is about a 12-second difference between play clock and game clock. And I think the Cougars are just going to let the play clock get down as low as they can and perhaps take another timeout. And that's exactly what happened. So Cougars take their second timeout of the half, and it leaves 13 seconds on the play clock. So, Roland, let me just put you in this situation. You're head coach Joe Muchigimba. Your offense is rolling. It's 4th and 2. There's 13 seconds left. You're at the 7-yard line. What do you do here?
Dance with who brung you. You got to give the ball either to Seth or you got to give it to Owen because they have had success. Or how about this? How about don't give it to either of them and let Xavier take it up for 2 yards? I mean, there's just who's going to hurt you? I mean, of course, Wagner's got to be keying on the run right now, but it's just like whom? That is where the question's going. I would run the football. I would have a quarterback keeper. However, as I said, and as I was mentioning, yeah, absolutely, I would kick the field goal, just like
Well, as a former kicker myself, I do not engage on kicker crime, so I always root for the kicker to come out in this, and I know I am in the minority. But this will be a 24-yard attempt from the far hash for Jacob Martinez. The snap is bobbled, and Martinez will pick it up. As he is tackled, the ball comes out. Facundo has scooped it up and is just going to down it at the 31-yard line. So a bad snap foils that attempt, and Roland, the Cougars have played almost blemish-free for a good, solid quarter, and that will be the lone mark, especially on the kicking game. A bad snap foils an attempt to get punts.
Right, but, if your coach Muchigimba, as I'm sure he will do, is say don't let that, don't let that get in your head. That play is over. It's time to look ahead to the second half and continue doing exactly what we were doing. Concentrate on the areas that they've been successful at and say you need to keep doing that.
Of course, I was the lone person up here wanting the field goal, and now everybody in our listening audience has said that's why we don't kick the field goal. You go for it in that situation as the T-Bird offense is back on the field. Weaver takes the snap, kneels it, and that will end our first half of play. The Cougars have picked the right time to peak in this young season. They are playing their best football. Our score at the half, Canyon 18, Wagner 0. We'll step aside when we come back. Halftime festivities from DW Rutledge Stadium here on the Cougars Network.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop.
This is football, and this is how it is. Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
Welcome back to DW Rutledge Stadium on the campus of Judson High School in Converse, Texas. Opening night of District 27-6A play, and the Canyon Cougars, like a boiling pot of water when you're making pasta, rolling, boiling at just the right time here at the start of district, playing their best football.
You know, absolutely, and we've seen peaks of this in the past 3 weeks. We've seen that how they progressed, okay? You know, a rough outing to start the season, looking a little bit better in that second game, and then by the time they got to Madison, they were down 1 at halftime. Only to come this far and take an 18-point lead into the halftime of district play. This is why you play teams like Madison and San Marcos, Cedar Ridge to start your season. The tough teams kind of gear you up for district exactly as you called it, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
We'll see if the Canyon Cougars could hold on and put a complete game together. That's a good second half. Hopefully looms in their future. Right now, the sound on the field is the Canyon Cougar High School Marching Band as they are coming out with their color guard, their twirlers, and the Aristocats dance team. We'll step aside here on the Cougars Network. We'll let the sounds in the background of the band members and the drill team take over halftime coverage. Again, our score at the half, Canyon 18, Wagner 0. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
Together in Hey Baby. Sit back and enjoy the sounds of the Canyon Cougar Band. Terry Brown. And the head social officer is Cassidy Fromm. The dance officers are Junior Lieutenant Kelsey Gomez and Grace Warren. Senior Lieutenant Bailey Brooks, Shelby McGrath, and Madison Noble. First Lieutenant Talia Lopez. And the Aristocat captain is Alyssa LeBron. The Aristocat of the week is Jillian Martin. Now sit back and relax as the Aristocats perform an entertaining prom routine to All the Small Things.
And it's halftime. We've been enjoying the strains of the mighty Canyon Cougar Marching Band. Great performance as always. Cougars on top. Wagner this evening at half, 18-0. We'll be right back with more halftime festivities from Rutledge Stadium in just a moment. You're listening to Canyon Cougar Football here on the Cougar Network.
Whether you're out at the beach or chilling poolside, the summer heat is here and Music Choice is turning it up. Chill out with the latest music from your favorite kids artists and more. Your music lives here on Music Choice.
Hey guys, it's Sophia Carson here. Check out all of my music videos available on Music Choice On Demand. Available on GVTC. Just go to Free On Demand and select Music Choice.
Once again with you at Rutledge Stadium, Canyon on top of Wagner. 18-0 is our halftime score. We're going to check some more scores from around the district here in just a bit on this week 1 of district play. Here, of course, for our district and I bet for yours as well if you're listening in. But right now, the real neat thing they put together, it's something called the Cougar Challenge. Now, we've been through 3 weeks of this already. Let's see what week 4 has in store.
Welcome back to another episode of Cougars Challenge. I have some very competitive guys sitting here with me today. Cougars, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
My name is Oscar Dean.
I'm Colton Pepper.
Boys, y'all ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. So our first question of the day is, in the nursery rhyme, Jack and Jill, what did Jack and Jill actually go up the hill to fetch? Colton?
A pail of water.
Good job. A pail of water is right. Can you recite that for me?
Yes, it's Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and that's all I know.
Jack fell down and broke his crown.
And that's...
Jill came tumbling after. That was a good job, though. You did
that's all
good.
I know, so that's all
you did good. Good job. So with Colton in the lead, we are on our second question of the day. What animal's sweat actually turns red when they are mad? Anyone? Buzz. Okay, it is a hippo. A hippo's sweat actually turns red when he is mad. We knew hippos got mad and charged, but who knew that they had red sweat, right? Do you know what else they use that for? Sunscreen. Pretty cool, huh?
That's cool.
A puggle is a dog, and it is a crossbreed between which 2 dogs? A puggle. Colton?
A pug and a poodle.
A
what it is?
No, it is a pug. Anyone? Anyone? Give up?
Yeah, no.
It is a cross between a pug and a beagle. A beagle, yes. So if you had like a Chihuahua and a Great Dane, what would y'all name it?
Graydon.
I don't know, a Chihuahua Dane or something like that.
A Chihuahua Dane, that's pretty good. A Chi Dane.
So you keep the Dane in there, but then, you know,
yeah,
it's small.
Chi Dane. Very good. So the score has been wiped back to 0. Our next question, it's anybody's game, is in hockey, what is known as a hat trick? Cooper.
3 goals in 1 game.
Yes, you got it. Good job. It is 3 goals in 1. Are you a hockey fan?
I am not.
No, but you knew that.
Yes,
good job.
I knew the soccer hat trick, but not the hockey one. So I know the soccer hat trick is 3, but
yeah.
I wasn't sure, and I don't want to lose any more points.
You didn't want to be in the negative.
Right, exactly.
This is good. All right, our final question of the day with Cooper in the lead, but someone could tie this game up. What is a baby turkey called? A baby turkey.
Turkey. I've never seen a baby turkey.
Cooper is hanging on to his point. He is not going to guess.
Oh, man.
Baby turkey.
Just guess. You've got nothing to lose.
I'm not going to say chicken.
Worth a guess. Y'all are both sitting on the big O. All right. A chick. I take that. Yes, a chick works. It is a poult or a chick. Good job. You have evened the score.
Whoa, awesome.
So boys, bonus question. We are tied 1-1 between Cooper and Colton. Do either of you know how to spell Coach Muchagumba? Cooper?
Moczygemba.
Coach?
That is correct, Cooper. Right. Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to assume you didn't cheat on me.
I did.
Good job, Cooper. Good job today, guys. Ultimately, we had a winner. Cooper, you're our winner today. Good job. Coach Brandt, back to you.
Go Cougs!
The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels. Our modern and architecturally impressive building is more like an art gallery than a dealership. With an extravagant showroom floor and customer lounge, with over 500 vehicles in stock, we have the ability to deliver the best savings possible to meet your budget needs. It's our pleasure to serve you in New Braunfels and the surrounding Hill Country communities. The all-new Nissan and New Braunfels, you've got to see this place.
You ever play Tetris as a kid?
Yes, I did.
Watch out.
I couldn't find a chain for you guys, but I got my necklace from the car.
It's starting to feel like a home. Welcome to your new house.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot believe they turned that into a house.
Watch FYI, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 132. GVTC, just plain smart.
Ben Campos, Roland Ruiz with you with GoldenEye Austin Milam, our spotter statistician. Our score at the break from DW Rutledge Stadium in Converse, it's Canyon 18 and Wagner 0. And Roland, we're thinking about what we're going to talk about here during halftime coverage, and it's a good problem to have. Where do we start with this ball game that Canyon has had? And I guess we'll start from the beginning, and let's start talking about this defense that's played so well. It's a defense that in the beginning we talked about bend but don't break, because they were pushed in so many bad situations to start this ball game. Your offense goes 3 and out and goes backwards, and then a bad punt sets up your opening possession defensively deep in your own territory. And what the Canyon Cougars do is they just force 2 turnover on downs to start this ball game.
Absolutely, and not only that, you were mentioning bend but don't break. This hasn't been anything along those lines. This has been dominate. They have come out and they have dominated the football game. As we mentioned, holding a high-power running offense. Right now, 22 carries for 39 yards. That's all the defense. Stepping up and shutting down that Wagner running offense.
You're right. Bend but don't break is really an insult to what this Canyon defense has done, because it's been stiffen up and thrust back. And they've done a great job against this Wagner Thunderbird offense, an offense that we said coming into this ballgame is averaging over 400 yards a game. And to start this ball game, Canyon defensively was losing the battle of field position. Again, they forced a turnover on downs, and the offense unable to get them out of their own field. And another short punt put them back on. Or excuse me, it was a fumble that put them back onto the field in short field position. But they forced another turnover on downs, and then the offense started clicking a little bit after their first 2 possessions, and the Cougars were able to, though not score, move the ball out. And then we started to get to the point where we are now, where Canyon has been dominating the battle of field position.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've known all season long thus far that the Cougars can move the football. It's always been a question of can they finish. They haven't been able to finish. Well, they have finished, and how, this evening thus far. You know, great job running the football, especially running the football. They've got 148 yards thus far on the ground. And that's between 3 running backs, and Xavier hadn't even really gotten started running the football yet this evening.
We'll get into stats a little bit later, but that's something, as I was talking to the Washington Bear during the break, I mentioned that, well, you look at the rushing yards for Xavier Perez, it's not because they're asking him to run the ball. Those are just, pocket collapses. You got to create something of it.
Right.
So perhaps not as spectacular as we've seen, but it's actually ends up being a good thing. But after that long drive by Canyon, it stalls. The punt by Jacob Martinez is downed inside the 5, and you get your first score of the ball game after that as Canyon's defense comes to play, forces a safety, gets the ball back to Canyon, who then has Canyon's offense, who then has to punt the ball back. And again, it's a short field defensively for Canyon, and then they get a fumble on a botched pitch on an option look, and that sets up the offense from 2 yards out, and it begins the opening scene of the Owen Worley show.
Absolutely, and you were mentioning getting that fumble. I've got to tip the cap to Zach Van Steel because the young man's had a great job defensively. Owen Worley, my goodness, running that football thus far this evening, showing one more weapon in the arsenal, as we mentioned. And that's what we've been talking about. Wouldn't it be neat if he could get started and kind of become a force to be reckoned with here? Owen, 8 carries thus far on the night for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns.
8.5 yard average. And keep in mind there, Roland, Zach Van Steel was 2 yards away from making the first 9 points come from the defense on fumble return, but he was pushed out at the 2, and Owen capitalizes. The next possession for Wagner gets them backed up due to a fumble on the kickoff. Inside their 5, the Cougar defense forces a 3 and out, and a bad snap from the deep snapper in their punt unit goes out of the back of the end zone, and there's another safety for the Cougars on defense to make the score then 11-0. Canyon gets the ball to sustain it. They go another long drive, 11 plays, 45 yards, and it's Owen Worley again, this time from 19, and he really puts a bow on this first half.
Absolutely. It's been a first half dominated by Canyon, especially by that Canyon defense. And we mentioned Zach Van Steel. We cannot turn our back on the big play by Eric Taylor. Taylor has come up huge, making some stops on the Wagner quarterback. And also really shutting down the running game. Tobias Weaver, by the way. I was looking for his name there momentarily. And what a coming out party for one Reagan Hopper, the 5'11", 175-pound junior, with some huge defensive plays in that first half as well.
You forgot the name of the Wagner quarterback. That's actually a tip of the cap to the Canyon defense.
Amen.
Because they have really quieted him tonight. Again, your score at the break, Canyon 18, Wagner 0. We'll step aside here on our coverage as the teams have made their way onto the field. When we come back, start of the second half, and our game between Canyon and Wagner. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
The wait is over. Chip and Joe are back with more Fixer Upper. I love you.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. You slayed it.
Whoa!
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 578. GVTC, just plain smart.
Third quarter about to begin here at DW Rutledge Stadium in Converse, Texas, just tucked inside of Loop 1604 north of San Antonio. Cougars on top of Wagner after one half, 18-0, as Jacob Martinez has the ball teed up at the 40-yard line. We'll just finish some stats, put things in perspective for you. Canyon, 188 yards of total offense to Wagner's 39 in that first half. Wagner return man back at his 7-yard line as Martinez puts a full charge into this one and sends this ball back at the 6 yards deep into the end zone. Will go in for a touchback, and Roland, the Cougars deferred, or excuse me, Wagner won the toss, elected to defer. So here we will see a very hot Cougar defense start this second half.
Let's see what's happened coming out of that locker room. Let's see if Big Mo is still on the side of that Cougar defense. Although defense has had a great showing even in the previous 3 games. Let's see if they can just maintain what they've started in the first half here.
First and 10, Wagner from their own 25, moving left to right with a little bit of a breeze coming out of the south. That's the right side end zone. Standing man in motion from left to right, handoff up the middle on a little belly option. That's 24, Isaiah Leday on the carry. It's a gain of 4 out to the 29. Should be second down and a 6.
Is Deaton getting up off the bottom of that pile? Josh Heiser with another big stop defensively. Called him to only a 4-yard gain.
Settling in here to the third quarter, first possession of this quarter. And a wing T look is Weaver under center. Man in motion from left to right is Walker. Handoff, another belly option up the middle. And the return man has some room up the middle. The running back across the 40, spinning his way into the Cougars secondary across the 45 to the 46. And I believe that is Isaiah Leday.
Is Deaton over to make the stop. Antonio De Leon that time for Canyon. And these adjustments, of course, Wagner had to talk about at halftime.
First and 10, Wagner approaching midfield, their own 46. Man in motion from left to right. Again, it's an option fake now. This time coming to the near side, it's Weaver. He has running room into Cougar territory and a touchdown saving tackle by Fabian Facundo. Across the 40, they'll give forward progress down to the 36. Deeper into Cougar territory to first down.
Yeah, we're, I think, seeing the results right now of those set adjustments that the Thunderbirds made at halftime. And got a counter with a little bit of answer from the Cougar defense.
Let's hope this Cougar team is not complacent after that wonderful first half. First and 10, Wagner. Bat to pass is Weaver. Looking, has time, fires across the middle. That ball is deflected by Facundo. Great defense there as he was looking for Charles Bethany, the sophomore wide receiver, on a little post route.
Oh, great job that time defensively by Facundo to break that up.
And avoid a pass interference penalty as
Yes,
well.
Absolutely.
A great job there by Fabian. Sets up a second down and 10 for Wagner at the 36-yard line into Cougar territory. 10:40 left to go in the third quarter. Canyon on top, 18-0. Still wing T look here for the T-Birds. With a man in motion from left to right. It's an option look coming to the near side, and it's a keeper by Weaver. Cougars are there as they try to string it out. Weaver will get down to the 30 and will set up a 3rd and 4.
Good pursuit that time by Vance McKay and also by Eric Taylor coming over to make the stop on Tobias Weaver. Stopping for a short gain.
Kicking woes for the Thunderbirds, so you know this is 4th down territory if the opportunity presents itself on 3rd and 4. Man in motion from right to left. Handoff is faked up the middle, and it's Weaver trying the left side. Nice stop there on one-on-one coverage. Weaver goes airborne, extending the football, and I think that's going to give him 2 yards, still shy of a first down.
So it's time to put up another defensive stop this time if the Thunderbirds do indeed go for it, and it appears that they will.
4th and 1.
About 1.
Wagner in the middle of the field, between the hashes. Adjustment on the defensive line by Canyon. Man in motion from right to left. Belly dive up the middle. That's Leday again. Slips out of tackle at the 20. McKay's got to make a touchdown-saving tackle and does. Oh, he threw him down and wrapped him up like you would see at the rodeo, rolling inside the 10, and a great individual effort by Vance. It'll be 1st and goal, though, for Wagner, now inside the 5 at the 4.
Absolutely. Right now what's happening is Wagner is starting to find little holes in that Cougar defense. Canyon's got to answer and tighten those holes up.
Leday has been really good up the middle on these belly dives. That's where the bulk of this offense has come from. Handoff is faked. Weaver tries the left side on an option. He'll keep it. And Weaver gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Wagner.
Well, certainly not the way you wanted to start the second half if you're Canyon. But you want to get the ball back in the hands of the offense and see if they've got an answer.
Valladolid on to tempt the extra point for Wagner out of the hold of Gerald Walker. Snap back and down. Valladolid's kick is up and good. 9:01 left to go in the third quarter. We have a new score. Canyon 18, Wagner 7. You're listening to Cougar Football on the Cougars Network.
Tom Brady, that's a mic drop. This is football, and this is how it is. Let's just get right to it.
Start your game day with Game Day Morning, football's first pregame show every Sunday.
Watch NFL Network, GVTC Digital Cable Channel 579. GVTC, just plain smart.
.901 left to go here in the third quarter. Just back from halftime. Wagner Thunderbirds had an answer with him as they moved the football down to put some points on the scoreboard thus far. And we can look at that drive. Ben, how did that turn out?
It is a 8-play, 75-yard touchdown drive that takes just about 3 minutes off the clock. So that's exactly what Coach Charles Bruce wanted out of his Thunderbird team coming out of the break. And if you're Coach Muchagimba, I think in this situation you just hope that that long sustained drive by Wagner woke up some of your Canyon football players after the half and got their attention. So Wagner's now back into it with an 11-point margin. Valdelit has the ball teed up. It's a short, high, spinning kick that's caught by an up man at the 30. He's trying to make something of it. I think that's Rivera, 84. For Canyon, Isaiah Rivera across the 40 to the 41. So Canyon getting good field position here to start the second half offensively.
Max Arellano with the stop on special teams that time for Wagner. And as we were saying, Ben, we've got to see if the offense has an answer in them.
Well, they certainly can't come out here like the defense just did, as Wagner really with very little effort went down the field. 8 plays, 75 yards. So a chance for Canyon to grab momentum back in this ball game and perhaps run some clock as well. Haney is to the right of Perez out of the shotgun. Fake it to Haney, bat to pass. Perez going deep on a deep fade route to Fabian Facundo, and that ball is just outside of his diving effort. Would have been inside the 20 if he caught it, but incomplete on first down.
You know, it's another example of Fabian just overthrowing, overshooting his receiver. I don't know if it's that or the receiver needs to speed up a bit, but it just seems to be always out of the reach. That would have been just a huge, huge play.
2nd and 10, handoff to Haney. Tries the right side, has running room across the 40 and the 45. Is tackled low and dropped down at the 46. Gain of 5 for Seth, setting up 3rd and 5. In blocking there for Canyon is Anthony Savoboda on that right side, giving him a little tight end look, but off the line. 2 receivers to the far sideline. Hand off to Haney once again, and Haney is met in the backfield, unable to get anything going as I see 9 Wagner Thunderbirds around the football at the end of that play. Everybody getting up, clapping. You could tell, Roland, you mentioned Big Mo coming out of the locker room.
Yeah.
He might have came out with Canyon, but now certainly here on the home sideline now.
That's right. It looks like Wagner's got that momentum. That time a big stop by Avante Stevens from his cornerback position, among others.
Deep punt is Martinez. Jacob Martinez sends this one high, spiraling kick that is not turned over, bounce at the 21, and will continue to take a Cougar bounce inside the 20. Down at the 15, another punt for Jacob Martinez inside the 20.
Okay, all is not lost because I tell you why. The defense in the first half was the entity that sparked the offense. It was the defense that got things going, fired things up. A stop here, and we could get Mo back on the side of Canyon.
Getting help from your punter, 40-yard effort there by Martinez, will give the Wagner Thunderbirds the ball 1st and 10 from their own 16. 7 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Canyon on top, 18-7, but Wagner threatening to get into this ball game. Again, mentioning a little bit more spirit on their sidelines now after their last touchdown drive. Belly option once again is handoff to Leday up the middle. Leday across the 20, still going down to the 25, maybe just shy of the 25. It's going to be a gain of 9.
The Thunderbird offense have certainly found something in that Canyon defense that they've been able to exploit on the first couple of possessions.
Well, I don't see anything stopping Leday up the middle anytime soon. So I would just do the whole do it till they stop it thing if I'm Wagner's coaching staff. Here on 2nd and 1. They go to the option to the far side of the field. Weaver keeps it, turns upfield, and he has plenty of running room. Across the 40 into Cougar territory at the 45-yard line, finally hit out of bounds. And they'll mark him at the 41. Big gain there by Tobias Weaver.
Yeah, Vance McKay once again with a touchdown, saving, well, I would say a tackle, but he just knocked him out of bounds.
First down, Wagner. Clock stops at 7 minutes. Cougar territory at the 41 after the gain of 34 from Tobias Weaver. Moving left to right are the Thunderbirds. Sends a man in motion. They'll pitch it to him. That's Walker. Walker turns the corner, but the Cougars are there defensively. It's another great open field tackle at the 40-yard line. Should be only a minimal gain. They'll give him 1.
And now offensively, just in 2 drives, 157 yards thus far offensively.
Wow.
For Wagner.
Well, they had 39 in the half and just got 34 from Weaver 2 plays ago. 2nd down and 8. The Cougar 40. Man in motion from left to right. Belly dive up the middle is Fate. The Cougars are there to stop Weaver as he faked it up the middle and came to the near side. I saw Martin Davis, the middle linebacker, making initial contact.
Absolutely. Big stop that time. Big 3rd down now. 6:11 left to go. Let's see what the Canyon defense has in store.
Wagner is 1 for 6. It would be a telling stat if I told you that. But you know this is going to be 4-down territory. So not trying to get the full 8 here are Wagner. Back to pass Weaver. Quick slant on the far sideline is away from his intended target. Looked to be some miscommunication. He threw a curl route and looked like perhaps the receiver ran a slant. Or vice versa. Either way, it's incomplete and 4th and 8.
Well, as we know, Wagner not particularly known for their passing game, whereas Canyon, an equal balance there. Have been a couple of games where you've had as many yards passing as you had running the football.
16 of 30 coming into this ball game was Weaver for the year throwing the football. 4th and 8. Weaver out of the gun actually backs up. He'll take it as a punt, sends it a line drive squibber across the 15 and the 10 and will die at the 7. So the Cougar defense holds, forces a punt, but it'll be a long field for this Cougar offense.
Well, part of the trick may be keep it on the ground, see if you can eke out a few first downs and start trying to eat up some of that clock as we are under 6 minutes, about 5:45 or 5:44 or so.
33-yard punt from Weaver, the quarterback, as he just drifted into punt coverage out of the shotgun. Canyon up 18-7 in the ball with, as Roland said, 5:44 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Ball at their own 7, moving right to left. Out of the gun, hand off to Worley. They'll try him up the middle, and Worley squirts free from the big pile of players, will come to the right side and get to the 10. That's only 3 yards, but it's tough when it looked like it was going to be a loss of 1.
And they just had him stacked up the line of scrimmage, so he bounced out and at least got positive yardage.
Back again to Worley, up the middle on a 2nd down. Again, tough yardage up the middle. Squirts free to the 12, minimum gain, but this 3rd down should be somewhat manageable. I think they're going to give it 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. The Wagner defense has certainly done a good job thus far in the 2nd half in shutting down Canyon's running game. They're going to have to see about getting something going perhaps with the quick over-the-middle pass that they've been successful with.
Wholesale changes offensively. 3 receivers now to the near sideline. Fake the quarterback's keeper, and Perez is in trouble. Lets it go downfield, and it's a caught by Haney. Out of the backfield, Seth Haney now rushing into Wagner territory. They're not going to catch him. Seth Haney, first touchdown of 2017. No Cougar deserves it more than him. Touchdown, Canyon.
You got to love it. And not only that, they had Xavier Pettis stopped. I mean, if Xavier wouldn't have unloaded that ball, great presence of mind to get rid of the football, and he found Seth all by his lonesome. Oh, wow, what a play.
They faked the quarterback keeper up the middle. That brought the defense in, and Seth Haney out of the backfield squirted down the seam. Not a Thunderbird in sight when he caught it. The kick by Martinez is up and good. Canyon has responded. Our new score, Cougars 25, Thunderbirds 7. We'll step aside. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
If you bank at Frost, we'll help keep your money safe. If you use your Frost debit card, the chip will make it more secure. If there's a suspicious transaction on your card, you'll get an alert. If you do, you can freeze your card with the Frost app. If you lose your phone, Touch ID login will help keep the app secure. Of course, if all you need is help from people who care, we've got that too.
4:37 left to go in the third quarter, and the Canyon Cougars have an answer. You know, Ben, it's just like our very own Austin Milam was mentioning here just a couple of minutes ago, how Xavier managed to get rid of that football and under so much pressure. It looked like he might have even fumbled it, but he was able to get rid of that thing. How he did, I don't know.
If you're going to be critical, Coach Wichigimba and the coaching staff and Coach Kirkland might actually pull Xavier aside or in film tomorrow and say, you know, 99 out of 100 times we don't want you throwing that football because bad things could happen as you're being tossed around, but we're glad you threw it that one time. We'll have the scoring drive for you after this kickoff. The kickoff sails 5 yards deep into the end zone and goes for a touchback. It's 3 plays for Canyon, 93 yards, 1:07 off the clock, and an 88-yard touchdown pass from Xavier Perez to Seth Haney out of the backfield. And not a player around Haney when he caught it at about the 45, and not a player laying a hand on him for the extra 55 yards as he raced it in.
Yeah, somebody blew something on that Wagner defense that time because, yeah, he was all by himself. I mean, there was nobody even in the zip code.
Good vibes for this Canyon team in this ball game as they are up 25-7. Wagner takes over 1st and 10 from their own 25. Sending man in motion, belly dive again up the middle. Leday, the Cougars there, has stiffened up along that defensive front. Leday, though, pushing the pile forward to the 28, gain of 3.
Yeah, it looked like Hunter Mason came over and made the initial hit on the Wagner running back. Then, of course, a host of Cougars come over and join in. Only 3-yard gain that time for the Thunderbird running back.
2nd down and 7, ball marked at the 28. 2 receivers either way for Weaver, who's in the wing tee under center. They drop the snap as Weaver is trying to get out of there quickly. He'll have to just fall on it and eat the play. It'll go down for a loss of 1. Another bad center quarterback exchange. Roland, I think you see that sometimes. A quarterback knows he's got to get out to the outside while running this option, and perhaps just gets out of there too quick.
Exactly. Yeah, you're moving without the football. You don't have a total control of the football at that time, and that could lead to a problem.
The rare teams in the greater San Antonio area operating under center for about 90% of their possessions. 3rd and 8 for Wagner. Sprint to the near side, pass all the way by Weaver, delivered and caught. That is Josh Cobbs across the 40-yard line to the 41. Will be enough for a Wagner 1st down as they get the conversion there on 3rd down.
And that Wagner's first reception of the evening, and it comes with 3:21 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
It's Cobbs, a sophomore, 2 touchdowns to his credit on 2017. Some confusion here by the Thunderbirds as they get back to the line trying to get their formation set, but they do now. 1st and 10 from their own 41. Sending man in motion. They give it to the belly dive up the middle, and the running back strings it out to the left across the 45 to the 50 into Cougar territory. It's a good tackle there by Fansteel as Carlton Black is the running back for Wagner.
Yeah, a couple of blown tackles in the backfield. They would have had him pinned for a loss, but the Wagner running back just a little too elusive that time and got to the outside.
Gain of 9, setting up 2nd and 1 as Leday comes back behind Weaver. Weaver will take it on quarterback sneak up the middle, and he is punished.
Yeah.
Not before he gets a 1st down, but hammer, meet, nail as the ball gets down to the 46. Wagner gets a 1st down.
No kid, he really got popped that time. It looked like Cole Seeley who came over and made the hit on Weaver that time, and that was just big.
Well, he took the snap, and it looked like he just said, forget the blockers. I'm just getting out in front of my offensive line. I see a gap. the gap was between the defensive line, but you get to that second line and the Cougar linebackers make you pay. 1st and 10 now, Wagner in Cougar territory at the 46. The option is faked up the middle, and it'll be Weaver to the outside, and the Cougars are there, forcing him out of bounds on the far sideline across the 45. Actually, they'll give him to the 45. Gain of 1 and a nice pursuit by the Cougar defense.
Absolutely. They have been keying on Weaver all night long, and tip of the cap to Martin Davis that time for good pursuit that time and catching him for little to no gain. They're going to say nothing doing there.
Day, the back for Weaver as it's a wing T look again. 2nd down and 9. Rollout pass here for Weaver. Looking downfield, keeps his eyes down and heaves it. Wide open receiver is Cobbs, but he overthrew him. At the 25-yard line, it'll go incomplete. A late hit on the quarterback, but that is not called. The flags stay in the pants, and a 3rd and long upcoming.
Yeah, Cooper Holmes back defensively for Canyon that time, but just a case of the quarterback Weaver overthrowing his intended receiver.
Weaver under pressure just couldn't connect. Otherwise, that could have been a touchdown for Wagner. There's plenty of running room for Cobb to turn it up and go. 3rd and 9 for Wagner. This Cougar defense has a chance to get off the field. Under center, Weaver again rolling out to the near side. He'll pass it this time to Cobb, and a great defensive effort by Vance McKay, knocking it out of his hand at the last second. Good play on the ball by Vance, and he'll set up 4th and 9.
Oh, I mean, among others, we've had so many stellar plays this evening, but tonight sure has been a night for Vance McKay to shine, and that right there is just another example.
Boy, rolling another game where we're going to have trouble figuring out who's going to be our player of the game afterwards, as you're seeing great play all over the field. From this Cougar football team, looking to get their first win here in 2017. Weaver back for the punt as he sends this one out inside the 20 and goes out of bounds. Heiser comes in and almost barrels over the protector to get his hand on it.
My goodness, I thought he got it. I mean, that was
close.
Was close.
But nonetheless, it's a turnover. Well, it was supposed to be a turnover on downs. I saw the quarterback out there, but it will go down officially as a punt. Another such punt for Wagner as it goes for 28 yards and puts Canyon 1st and 10 inside their own 20. But as we saw in the last possession, that is not going to deter this Cougar offense. Working in a rhythm now. 1 minute, 36 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Canyon with a 25-7 lead over Wagner in district opener. 1st and 10. Handoff on a little sweep. Coming to the near side. That's Worley. Worley across the 25-30, and he's hit hard. But not after a big gain. Owen Worley on a little end around, out to the 32.
Yeah, that time Max Ariano making the stop for Wagner. But as you mentioned, the Owen Worley show. Yeah, there's another name we got to bring up for player of the game. What a night that young man's having.
15 yards and a Cougar 1st down for Owen. Ball's here on the near hash at the Cougar 32. Spread look. Oh, this snap goes behind Perez. He better just jump on this one. He does. Ball still out, though, inside the 10 and near the 5-yard line. Hope Canyon was able to get on there, and Johnny on the spot is Owen Worley. Whoa, what a savior he has been. He got the 1st down on the last play and saves the possession for Canyon.
Wow, another miscue, ill-advised, too, because they were moving the football.
It was a good snap. I just got to believe that either Perez wasn't looking for it or the snap just came too early or he forgot the snap count. Either way, it's zung past him. And the Cougars are, again, facing a 3rd and long, 2nd and 36. Handoff to Worley. Goes to the right side. There's nothing doing there. Maybe even back inside the 5. And it will be spotted at the 3. It's a loss for Owen. And Roland, what play do you have in your playbook for 3rd and 39?
Call Michael Irvin. It's this is a tough one. I don't know. They've been successful running the football, but they've got to get to the 42-yard line.
Handoff up the middle. It's Worley. Worley has some running room on the right side. Across the 10 and the 15, and that is it. It's also it for the third quarter in this ball game. We played 3 here in Converse, and our score is Canyon 25, Wagner 7. We'll step aside when we come back. Fourth quarter action here on the Cougars Network.
Flimsy microwave bacon tastes, but Wendy's oven-baked bacon tastes. Add it to fresh, never-frozen beef, and you've got a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. A JBC with 4 nuggets, fries, and a drink is what makes Wendy's 4 for $4 so delicious.
Experience the best seat in every ballpark with MLB Network Strike Zone. There it goes! Catch baseball's biggest moments from around the league live on one channel.
You gotta be kidding me!
See the clutch hits.
It's a goner!
Great grabs.
Unbelievable!
And walk-off winners.
Game winner!
All without changing the channel.
Let's go home!
Bring home MLB Network Strike Zone. Tuesday and Friday nights, commercial-free all season long.
12 more minutes on the clock in this one, a game that's been dominated by the Canyon Cougars. Wagner would have a bit of an answer there in the third quarter, getting into the end zone. And, of course, Canyon would answer that 25-7 going into the fourth quarter.
Jacob Martinez in deep punt standing at his own 2 for Canyon. The rush is on, but he gets the ball away. That ball will bounce at the 40-yard line, continue a Cougar bounce across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And that's where Wagner will take over 1st and 10 in Cougar territory.
So it was an offensive mistake that really kind of thwarted that Canyon drive, put him way back in the hole, couldn't pick up a first down. And that'll be up to call on the Cougar defense once again to see if they've got a stop in them.
Bring the Thunderbird offense back on the field and the Cougar defense as well. 1st and 10 here, opening play of the fourth quarter. Canyon on top, 25-7. Weaver under center in the wing T look. Send a man in motion. That's Black. The ball is loose, as I don't think Weaver had another good quarterback center exchange. The Cougars come up with the ball, but I think that that had been after the play had already been spotted. So keep the ball with Wagner, and it would be now 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, they're going to get him for a loss of 1 that play on the bad center quarterback exchange.
Second and 11 for Wagner. Again, a man in motion. That's Black. They fake it up the middle, come to the near side. The ball is away from the intended receiver, and a late flag. Intended was Josh Cobbs on a little out route. We'll check this penalty. Looked to be a late hit on Weaver, and that's exactly what it is.
Right.
Roughing the passer against Canyon. Roland hadn't seen too many penalties since those 6 that Canyon put up in the first quarter, and this one will give new set of downs over to Wagner.
Right now is not the time you want to start with these penalties. Look, this is moving the ball all the way up across the 35 to about the 34-yard line. Right now is not the time for miscues. Right now is the time to just hold on and maintain that lead and put some more points on the board if possible.
1st and 10, Wagner at the Cougar 34, moving right to left here in the fourth quarter. Back to passes, Weaver, surveying his options. It comes to the near side, keeping his eyes downfield. He has some pursuit. He's just got to throw the football away. Great discipline by the Cougars to make sure he stays with his eyes downfield, and good coverage there in the secondary.
Yeah, good pursuit that time. Dallin Watanabe and also Cole Seeley, who came over to chase quarterback Weaver. Give him a 2nd and 10 now.
You know, and it's so important, Roland, that you want to force him to stay behind the line of scrimmage, especially a quarterback that likes to keep the ball and run, and not you take away that run option when the pocket collapses. It's just good discipline there by that defensive front. 2nd down and 10 for Wagner at a pistol look here. Handoff is given to Black across the right side on a little sweep action. Tries to turn the corner and can't, but will get to the 30-yard line or just shy of it. It's a good run there by Carlton Black.
Absolutely, as I try to zero in on the Cougar defender right now who's got his side to me to give him credit for making that tackle, but that was great pursuit that time.
I thought you just would say Eric Taylor no matter what because it almost chances are you'd be right either way. 3rd and 6 for Wagner at the 30-yard line. Under center, Weaver. Quick hit up the middle is Leday, and the Cougars are there. Still forward momentum, taking them across the 30 as they'll spot the ball, I believe, rolling at the 28. It's a gain of 3.
Yeah, another big hit that time for the Cougar defense as the clock does continue to run. We are just underway, but
about 10 minutes left to go here.
Right. This could be a big stop this time for the Cougar defense.
It's 3 possessions, and it's a Wagner team that really struggled to score quickly. They like long, methodical drives. 4th and 3 for the Cougar defense. Wagner under center is Weaver. Option look coming to the near side. It's a keeper all the way. Weaver turns the corner at the 25. The Cougars are there for pursuit, but I think Weaver is going to get 4, and he needed 3. Down to the 21, it's a first down for Wagner on the 4th down conversion.
Yeah, Facundo slowed him down, but just not enough to hold him from picking up the first down that time.
Roland, he had his option open, and he just elects to keep it himself, and not even a glancing look over at whether or not his option had it. It worked out for him in the end, Weaver, as it'll be first down and 10 at the Cougar 21. Handoff is faked. It'll be a Weaver keeper up the middle across the 20 to the 19. And a minimal gain there as a Cougar defense stiffening up across that defensive front.
Martin Davis coming over from his linebacker position to make the stop.
Gain of 2, second down and 8. Now 9 minutes left to go in this ball game. The difference in the score is 18 points. That's 3 possessions. Weaver's bat to pass. Looking, pocket collapses. He comes to the near side, keeping his eyes downfield. The Cougars are there, and that is just disciplined play defensively. What a play by Dallin Watanabe, making sure that the run was not an option there.
Absolutely. He also had some help coming up. Eric Taylor was there. Josh Heiser was there. Nothing was going to happen, and it was like Weaver just said, well, might as well just step out of bounds and see if I can give it another shot. But good defensive pursuit that time by the Cougars.
Roland, it was like the mirror game, and I like that as you saw Weaver just try to juke left and right, and all you saw Dallin do is juke with him and say, I'm not going to make the first move here, and then Weaver eventually loses that game of chicken. 3rd down and 11. Weaver back to pass, sprinting out to the right. Hill is in trouble. He keeps it and goes up the middle. He has running room across the 15 and the 10, dives forward across to the 9-yard line, maybe the 8. And Roland, there's an example of you let Weaver make that move after you've attacked him, and he could juke you out and get upfield.
Exactly. Very elusive. They had him stop back behind the line of scrimmage. But now with the Thunderbirds with the first down.
Under 8.5 left to go in this ball game. First and goal from the 8. Handoff. It's Leday up the middle. Shakes a tackle at the 5, and he will power his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Wagner. They're going to keep the offense out there, it looks like, and they'll set up to go for 2. This will make it a 10-point ball game. Again, it's 3 possessions, but at least the 2 there would be a touchdown and a field goal as opposed to 2 touchdowns if it's stuck at an 11-point game, although I guess 11 would still be 2 possessions with a 2-point conversion touchdown and a field goal, but this one would definitely be more efficient if you keep it at 10. There's confusion by the Wagner offense, and so Coach Coach Bruce is going to take a timeout here.
Wow. Well, I guess we might have figured it was just going to be a matter of time. But Tobias Weaver now over 100 yards running the football this evening, which is more or less right around his average.
Well, Roland, you saw 2 different styles of defense against Weaver in that scenario. You saw on the near side, Dallin Watanabe play the mirror game with Weaver and not electing to dive first. You let Weaver make the first move. And what happens is in that game of chicken, Weaver just says, okay, my best bet here is just to go out of bounds. I can't juke you out. And then on 2 plays ago when you saw the pocket break down, you saw a Cougar linebacker or defensive guy just come in and take a dive at Weaver. And what Weaver then is allowed to do is juke and then get out into the open field and break contain. And that really is a tale of two defensive stories on that possession against Tobias Weaver. The Thunderbirds are out to try this two-point conversion. Ball spotted at the 3-yard line. Wing T look, Weaver under center. Man in motion from right to left. Option look, coming to the near side. The Cougars are stringing it out. We'll see what Weaver does. He has nowhere to go. He steps out of bounds.
He sure did.
And the Cougars have forced a failed two-point conversion. Our score, with 8 minutes and 12 seconds left, the Cougars 25, the Thunderbirds 13. We'll step aside. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
The wait is over. Chip and Joe are back with more Fixer Upper. I love you.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. You slayed it.
Whoa!
You killed it.
This is amazing.
Yes!
Fixer Upper, Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Watch HGTV, GVTC, Digital Cable Channel 578. GVTC, just plain smart.
8:12 left to go in our ball game this evening. The Wagner Thunderbirds back on the scoreboard following a very impressive drive spearheaded by quarterback Tobias Weaver. Cougar defense had him wrapped up on a couple of occasions, but the all-elusive Weaver got loose and eventually set things up for a touchdown to bring the score within 12.
25-13 with 8:12 left to go. It's a 10-play, 54-yard drive. 3 minutes and 45 seconds off the clock. Again, it's a two-possession ball game now, so you start to question in your head, is there an onside kick coming? You have to start to wonder, can Wagner even have a quick strike type of offense out there? They do try the onside. It does not go the 10 yards before being touched by Wagner, so the flags are out. Little rugby scrum across the Cougar 35, 30-yard line. And we'll have the referees sort this out. The Thunderbirds, I believe, touched it at around the 47, needed to get to the 50 and didn't. So there should be illegal touching here, and the ref threw the beanbag instead of his flag, and they have to sort that out. Illegal touch, the indication against Wagner. They'll give the kicking ball back to the Wagner sidelines, get a new one from the Canyon sidelines, and the Cougars will get the ball at that spot where it was illegally touched. They'll mark it at the Wagner 48-yard line. So the Cougars again starting a drive inside Wagner territory.
Yeah, good field possession for Canyon.
Haney to the right of Perez. Two receivers to the far sideline. Those are stacked receivers. Hand off to Haney, and Haney is met at the line of scrimmage almost immediately. Ooh, ball came out at the last second. Why did they not stop forward progress? A lineman jumps on the football. That's 76, Jacob Solbrig, the right tackle.
Well, good heads-up play that time by Solbrig to fall on the football and let the Cougars hold on to possession.
How that wasn't called for forward progress, I do not know.
Yeah.
The Thunderbirds had him wrapped up almost immediately and driven backwards, and suddenly the ball did come out maybe about 4 or 5 seconds later. Second down and 21 for Canyon. Man in motion from right to left is far. Fake it to Haney. Perez looking out of the gun. Fires it across the middle. That's Lane Young. Young has a grab and is going to have his forward progress marked at the midfield mark. It's a nice gain there of about 10, setting up 3rd and 11. Officially 9 on the hookup between Perez and Young. They'll move far from the far side here to the near. He's in the slot with Isaiah Rivera outside of him. Young, the lone receiver, to the top. Haney to the right of Perez. Perez pass all the way. They have a screen set up to Haney, who has the ball and some running room across the 40. He's going to sprint across the 30, the 20. Seth Haney, a 2-touchdown night. Wonderful play call, the screen when the blitz was coming. Perfectly timed, perfectly executed, and Canyon strikes from midfield.
You know, Xavier's been able to find him on a couple of occasions that have led to scores tonight. It just kind of like as a matter of fact, here you go, Seth. And he just hauled that in and took it to the house. It couldn't have come at a bigger time for Canyon. Now 6:36 left to go in the ball game, and the Cougars widen that margin.
Tells you how Wagner was sneaking into this ball game. I mean, they had an onside kick there that who knows what would have happened. Canyon is lining up for two, so we'll talk about that later. Pump fake to the far sideline, and the receiver fell down. That was Facundo. Perez lets it fly, and that is incomplete. So the two-point conversion is no good. Roland, let's keep it here, and we could talk about some of the developments here. It was a 50-yard touchdown pass, Xavier Perez to Seth Haney. That's Haney's second touchdown of the night. But, Roland, when we compile the stats, and so far with 6.5 left to go in this ball game, it's safe to say this at this point, Seth Haney still doesn't have a rushing touchdown to his credit.
Well, okay, we're going to be picky about it. Okay, but good point. But as I mentioned earlier, there's been a nice balance to what we've seen with the Canyon offense thus far this season. Hasn't resulted in any wins as of yet, but if you look at the numbers right now, 144 yards on the ground for the Cougars, 187 yards throwing the ball for Xavier Perez and the Cougar offense. So things starting to balance out a little bit in that offensive attack.
Of those receiving yards, two catches, I should say, come from Seth Haney, and 138 yards and 2 touchdowns on those 2 catches. So efficiency, thy name is Seth Leaper Haney.
Absolutely. And we saw that earlier in the year, as a matter of fact, when he hauled in a couple of catches for 82 yards, as I recall, in a game that was it against Cedar Ridge, I believe?
I believe so. Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, 2 catches for 82 yards.
Yeah, a couple of those got Canyon deep in the red zone. Martinez sends the return man to the 5-yard line, comes up the middle, across the 20, and he has some running room. Coming to the near side, Martinez has to make a tackle. What a tackle by the kicker at the 45-yard line, and the ball might have even come out at the end. Jacob Martinez, he's the safety valve on that kickoff return coverage, and he makes a touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, that's what they teach you kickers to do, just knock them down just like that. Isn't that right, Ben?
I don't know, because I would, as soon as I kicked it, I would have picked up the tee, and I said, nope. Don't want any part. I would have faked like my shoe was untied or something. But Jacob Martinez showing you that although he is a kicker by way of position, he's definitely a football player.
He is a football player. Gotta love it.
Form tackled and everything, and might have even gotten a forced fumble out of that. So a kicker salute to you, Jacob Martinez. Ball spotted at the 45-yard line for Wagner, though good field position. 1st and 10. Out of the gun now is Weaver. Again, the question is, can Wagner even have a quick strike offense? Pass to the near side is a little curl route is caught. That's Cobbs. Cobbs forced out of bounds at the 44. It's good one-on-one tackle there by Cooper Holm on the outside. I believe Cooper was the winner of the Cougar Challenge with Emily this week, so a couple of nice plays and a well-deserved win there for Cooper.
There you go.
Into Cougar territory at the 45. The ball is spotted. Clock stops for the first down. It's 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Canyon on top, 31-13. Weaver again out of the gun. Fakes the hitch on the near side. Lets it fly to Cobb, and that ball is intercepted. Picked off by Fabian Facundo. Weaver just held that up in the air. Cobb actually had to adjust to it, but that was well short. And Fabian Facundo comes in to steal it away, and the ball will go over via turnover.
Comparatively speaking, we were talking about, sure, and there was a couple of long strikes to Seth Haney from Xavier Perez. Now, on the other side of the football, Weaver's only thrown the ball. He's thrown the ball 9 times, only completed 2. And, of course, that pick there doesn't look particularly accurate throwing the football this evening.
Well, Roland, obviously throwing the ball is not the strength of this Wagner team. And this leads you to believe, and this could be a concern from them in district, if you're down 2 or 3 possessions, in the 4th quarter and you need the ball back, can you even go quick strike if the defense is going to beg you to throw the football? 1st and 10 for Canyon from the 17-yard line. Handoff up the middle is Worley. Worley with some tough yards across the 20. Shy of the 25. I think they'll spot him at the 24. It's hard yards down for a gain of 6.
Some tough yards in the middle of the field there, but Worley's been doing that all night.
Officially 7 as the clock goes now under 6 minutes. Canyon, again, it's an offense that wants to get into a rhythm, and so trying to string out time on the play clock is not really their strong suit. Handoff is fake to Worley. Perez will keep it, tries the right side as a flag comes in. I think that's going to be a face mask. Perez is down at the 27. The first thing he does is readjust his helmet. Face mask, the indication against Wagner. So 15 yards and another Cougar first down.
Absolutely. Hey, some scores to pass along here while they set this. 15 seconds left in the third quarter, and Judson leads, I think, the team we see next week, the New Braunfels Unicorns, by a score of 49-0.
Wow.
It's Clemens on top of East Central 28-0, and we'll get back with more scores here in just a moment.
Opening play of District 27-6A, and the Canyon Cougars are going to find themselves, as it seems, to be on the winning side of that district. And they just got to finish this one here against Wagner. 5 minutes left to go in the ball game. Cougars 31-13 lead. Handoff to Worley, comes to the near side, makes a man miss at the line of scrimmage. A nice block here on the near sideline by Devion Black. Worley gets across the 45 to the 48. It's a good gain of 7 for Owen.
Yeah, and great job that time, as you were mentioning, by Black that threw that block to spring him.
2nd and 3, approaching midfield. Moving left to right are the Cougars. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. They'll hand the ball off to Worley again. Tries the right side, gets into Wagner territory. Shedding blocks as he gets a first down. And Roland, you need to bleed time off this clock. What a luxury to have a running back like Worley and Haney.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what you're going to need to use. Not to mention a quarterback like Xavier Perez, who does quite a decent job of running the football himself.
Perez ran it a couple of plays ago, got a face mask penalty because of his elusiveness. That kept this drive going. 1st and 10 from the Wagner 47. Orley up the middle, shakes the first tackle once again. Gets hit hard, but he gets to the 45-yard line, and that'll be about a gain of 2. As we have an injured player, that's Black. He's going to limp off the field. And checking in for Canyon offensively is Trevor Pape. Check in at that tight end position, lead blocker. Line up on the left side of the Cougar offensive line. Ball spotted at the Wagner 44. Xavier getting a play from the far sidelines. Orley, there I go again, combining his name. Worley to the right. Worley takes the handoff and goes up the middle, makes the first tackler go backwards, and will be stopped at the 41. It is a gain of 4, setting up 3rd and 4.
Yeah, Ariano that time had him stop maybe for about a yard gain, but Worley's forward momentum just kind of pushed him down and helped him to pick up extra yardage. Had some powerful running by Worley this evening.
To the 41, now under 3.5 to go in this ball game as the Cougars looking to seal this one. They fake it to Haney. Perez throws down the seam intended for Pape, and that ball is incomplete. Miscommunication there between Perez and Pape. Either Pape ran the wrong route or Perez put it in the wrong spot.
Well, one other score to pass along that we did moments ago, Smithson Valley on top of the Steel Knights. Who would have thought Steel 0-3 thus far on the season? About to drop another one, this time to Smithson Valley, by all indications, 36-20.
Had that conversation with Brant Freeman, who's with us here on the Rangers Network, our sister station, if you will, calling that game. He said that going into the half, the score was 14-6 in favor of Steel. And in 30 seconds, Roland, they go into the half with Smithson Valley up 20-14. It's just like that. The Rangers were able to get 2 touchdowns in a matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's certainly not it's certainly rather commonplace for a very disciplined squad that Smithson Valley seems to have year in and year out.
Wagner will take a timeout here with 3:04 left to go in the fourth quarter. So like you listening wherever you're with us here on a Cougars Network, and we thank you for being with us on a Friday night. I'm wondering how Smithson Valley did that, and of course, you could go over to the Rangers Network and you could listen to the Brant Freeman call, or you could come back later on in the week and check out the video replay of that game and see how Smithson Valley did that. And while you're there, come back to the Cougars Network as well, and you'll see the replay of this game. And what a complete game the Canyon Cougars have turned in to open District 27 6A, what many people have called the toughest district in the state of Texas. It appears the Canyon Cougars will be on the winning half of that when Saturday comes. There's 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go, and the Cougars have a palindromic 31-13 lead over Wagner as Martinez comes onto the field to set up a punt. There's an issue with the clock as they get the clock now reset to 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
I'm not sure if the night is over yet for Tobias Weaver. However, we are seeing DeMarcus Hendricks on the near sideline. He was taking a few snaps and seeming to get his arm loose. I don't know if there'll be a change in quarterback, but we will see, I guess, momentarily.
Back to Martinez, right foot into it. No return for Wagner is set up. Bounce at the 15, and this ball is going to trickle down inside the 5, inside the 4, dies at the 3. J.C. Robledo makes the down there. It's a 38-yard punt and rolling again. Jacob Martinez pins Wagner back. Forget inside the 20, Roland. We're going to start marking this dude inside the 5. What are your stats?
You know, another stellar performance by Martinez. We've seen this all season long, and the young man just contributes to the overall success of the Cougars, and he's doing a great job by his kicking. Of course, his kicking and his punting.
Final numbers for Tobias Weaver, if this is indeed, I believe, I don't see him out there. That is number 10, DeMarcus Hendricks, that will be under center. 29 rushing attempts, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Roland well above his averages tonight.
Absolutely.
1st and 10, Wagner with the backup quarterback at their own 3. Hendricks will go, and the ball comes out.
Football.
Vance McKay with the easiest touchdown he will have, as you can't fault DeMarcus Hendricks, Roland, as he's just trying to make something going. There's no quit in that Wagner football team trying to string it out, but what happens is he puts the ball on the ground, realizes his ball's on the ground, he's got to pick it up, and the ball comes loose, and Vance McKay, hey, looky what I got here. 2 yards away from the end zone, I'll just trot in, and the Cougars put up another defensive score there on that fumble return by Vance McKay.
Yeah, and, you know, you credit that once again to just a tenacious, heads-up, hungry defense that Canyon has showed this evening, and I don't think anybody deserves it more than Vance McKay. What a game he's had.
Kick up by Martinez is good. There is a late flag in, so we'll check that. And doesn't seem to be against Canyon. It'll be unsportsmanlike conduct against Wagner, so the point will stay as that penalty is declined. 2 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in this ball game. Our new score, Canyon 38, Wagner 13. You're listening to the Cougars Network.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor.
2 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in tonight's ball game. And only fitting that after forcing one safety that the Cougar defense would get a touchdown.
Finally, they had Cougar defense safety, Cougar special teams safety, and now a Cougar defensive touchdown. Well, we'll take it on a wonderful night for the Cougar football team. And Roland, coming into this ball game, you know, we said that you couldn't look at the records. The strength of schedule that Canyon went through had them 0-3, and the softer schedule of Wagner had them 3-0. And, you know, you got to look at this very analytically, Roland. We saw a team week in over the past month of this football team, week in, week out, improve in every area of the football game. They just weren't getting W's.
Absolutely.
And that's something, of course, the fans like to see. But the wonderful thing about high school football is they give you that grace period of pre-district. And it seemed to me that though that road was a tough road for Canyon, they came out on the other side definitely a better football team.
Right, and head coach Joe Muchagama knew exactly what he was doing. Playing the likes of Madison, of a San Marcos, of a Cedar Ridge, because they knew that, as we've said all along, this is one tough district to go through. I mean, we're looking at the buzzsaw that Judson is. We're looking at the strength of Smithson Valley. Clemens with another big win, or winning tonight with, say, about 5 minutes left to go on the clock at this point. It's going to be a tough district. We're going to have to play some tough teams, as we do year in and year out. So this has got to do a whole lot for the confidence and the mindset of Canyon. A win like this, and a win that was done on both sides of the football tonight.
I would say all three sides.
All three sides,
you throw
absolutely.
in the kicking game, and Roland, if nobody believes you of what you just said about this district, and I don't think anybody doesn't, but if you don't, just go ask the New Braunfels Unicorns about that, because they were undefeated going into tonight's ball game with the Judson Rockets. Definitely feeling good about themselves, and why not? Their schedule was just as brutal as what Canyon went through, and they came through on the other side 3-0, but they ran into a district opponent that is ranked nationally in the top 25 by USA Today, and by all accounts, it's a surprise to me. One, because the spread in that ball game, but that the Unicorns were held to no points through last update. That was just incredible.
Well, they did get on the scoreboard now. 4:46 left to go in the ball game, and it's Judson on top of New Braunfels, 49-7. The Clemens East Central game has just ended. Final there, Clemens over East Central, 35-0. And there's apparently 16 ticks of the clock left in Cibolo, as Smithson Valley is apparently on their way to another victory, 43-20 over the Steel Knights.
Steel got the win in the opening season of the opening game of the year, but have since go 0-3. Now with losses against Lake Travis, no real shame there, O'Connor, and now the Smithson Valley Rangers, as Martinez has his ball finally teed up, and the return man will take it at the 8-yard line. On the far sideline, makes a man miss at the 20 and will go forward to the 25. That's where Wagner will have it. It was interesting there, and while we were vamping, trying to make time go by here, there was the penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct, that would have given the Cougars a kickoff at the 50-yard line, and Joe Muchagimba took 3 delay of game penalties to push the kickoff back at the 35. And so, Coach Mooch is cut from Coach Larry Hill's cloth over there at Smithson Valley. You never miss an opportunity to coach. And this is just speculation, Roland. I bet he wanted one more crack at his kickoff coverage unit to pinpoint one more thing, and he says, no, we're not going to let you fly on this one. We need to work on some stuff.
There you go. Absolutely. He's certainly knows how to work it.
1st and 10, Wagner. Their own 25-yard line with 2:48 left to go. Handoff from Hendrickson is to Leday, who goes up the middle, and it gets to the 28. Minimal game there, as we're starting to see some of the backups get subbed in now, and a good chance to develop some experience against a district opponent for some of these younger players. Of course, Roland, you work so hard throughout the week and throughout training camp and all that stuff. It's just nice to get in if you rarely see the playing field.
You want some game time. These young men are hungry to play as well.
Handoff Leday up the middle once again. Some running room across the 30, scrumming it out to the 35. Should be enough for a Wagner first down, as the clock will stop with 2:09. Canyon on top, 38-13. You mentioned that Steel game, and we're talking about it in pregame. Of course, we're playing the what if. What if Steel lost 3 in a row? It's the first time they've done that since their inaugural season back, I believe it was 2008, when Steel started up their football program and quickly rose to prominence in the greater San Antonio area. But one wonders what that loss of Coach Linhoff has left the Steel Knights. As the handoff goes to Lede up the middle, running room, across the 40 and the 45. It's a nice stick tackle there, I believe. Is that Fansteel that made it? No, that's 8 DeLeon.
Yes, DeLeon came over to make the stop that time.
Another great tackle by that linebacker for Canyon. First down, though, for Wagner at the Thunderbird at their own 30, check that, 46-yard line. Handoff is faked. They go to the option look on the far sideline, and the pitch comes late across the 45 into Cougar territory, across the 40 and the 35. Actually, they'll spot him out of bounds shy of the 35, and big glare here in the press box can't give you a proper identification of a running back there, Roland. It's the downside of a team in black numbers against a red backdrop.
Yeah, it can be a challenge at times.
Kavion Barnes is the running back that had that on the last carry. Handoff faked, option look to the far side. Hendricks, will keep it and is strung out. Minimal gain there, maybe one from the quarterback on the option keeper.
And that was DeLeon, I think, making the stop that time for Canyon. As we head to the 1-minute mark of tonight's contest, looks like Cougars are going to go 1-0 in district.
What a good feeling for Coach Joe Muchagimba and this Cougar football team, fighting through a tough schedule and coming back on the other side on the first game of district. Pitch to the far side, and the Cougar defense are there. What a tackle as number 90 came in for Canyon. Jacob Trevino making first contact, spinning him around, and unable to break free as the running back, gain of 3.
Some help that time also by Kyle Collier, a 5'9", 200-pound junior, coming over from his linebacker spot to make the stop.
20 seconds left to go. 3rd and 7. They will need to snap the ball one more time because of the difference in the play clock and the game clock. Handoff Lede up the middle. Has a Wagner first down, dragging Cougar defenders with them. Cooper Holm rips the ball out at the last second, but the referee says that Lede is down. They'll spot the ball at the 21. It's a good effort there by Cooper Holm. And the clock will mercifully continue to go, even though the Wagner Thunderbirds got a first down. And that is the end of tonight's ball game. The referees do not stop play, and Hendricks will keep it to the right side. I don't think – and that ball actually comes out, and finally the game will end. Roland, I didn't think he got the ball off in time, but
no.
So that's last-minute duty by our spotter statistician to make sure he correctly logs that play before the end of this ball game. Our final score, Canyon 38, Wagner 13. The Canyon Cougars are 1-0 in district play. We'll step aside on the Cougars Network. When we come back, post-game coverage of tonight's Cougar win. You're listening to Cougar Football on the Cougar Network.
MLB Tonight brings you closer to the pennant chase.
Devastating slider. Leaping grab. That's number 3.
Closer to the epic moments.
That ball is cashed out to center. And a dive and a catch.
Closer to the critical plays.
Now you can use your hands more. Now I go into a fine focus. Boom.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, bringing you closer to the pennant chase.
This is it.
On MLB Network, home of 2 American League Division Series games.
And welcome back to Converse, Texas, DW Rutledge Stadium on the campus of Judson High School. The Canyon Cougars come south on I-35 and defeat the Wagner Thunderbirds by a score of 38-13. The Cougars 0-3 in non-district, improve their record to 1-3, and most importantly, Roland 1-0 in district play.
1-0 in district play, and what a total team effort we saw tonight from Canyon. I think if there's the main thing that you can take out of this and say, here's what we need to improve on, here's what we need to improve on, be the miscues and the penalties. Other than that, what an effort these guys put together on all, as you said, on all 3 sides of the football.
For Coach Charles Bruce and the Wagner Thunderbirds, it's a same song, different verse, if you will. They started 3-0 last year. Then came to Canyon High School and lost that ball game to Open District, with Canyon winning that one at 29-15. After that, Wagner went 0 for 5 in district. with 5 straight losses before getting a season finale win over East Central. And so you have to ask yourself, where does Wagner go from here? They were 3-0 against a soft non-district schedule, came into this ball game with confidence and leave with their heads down as they sing their alma mater here on the near sideline, having lost this ball game 38-13. Roland, it goes to show you playing tough opponents in non-district is a key to surviving a tough district.
Oh, absolutely, because you've got to experience maybe some of what you're going to experience a little bit later on in district play. And as we've said countless times, this, if not the toughest district in Texas, definitely among them, because all the likes of Judson, the likes of Smithson Valley, Clemens, who's coming on big. It's just a tough district to play in. And, taking your lumps early on may get you to concentrate and say, well, these mistakes we made early on, we're going to correct them by the time we're getting district and the games count even more.
360 yards of total offense for the Cougars tonight. And how about the night Owen Worley had? 18 carries, 123 yards. That's almost 7 yards average, 2 touchdowns on the ground. And then through the air, out of the backfield, Seth Lieberhaney, 2 grabs, 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. Roland, you got your 1-2 punch in the backfield between Owen Worley and Seth Haney.
Yeah, nothing to sneeze at either. 16 carries for 75 yards for Seth on the night, so he's keeping his rushing average pretty much intact. Great game, like I said, all the way around for Canyon this evening, and we take it with us, and hopefully we can hold on to some of that momentum and some of that confidence that we got tonight as we take it into this coming Thursday's contest.
At halftime, the Washing Bear went to go get a drink, and he came back with the Dr. Pepper can, and the Dr. Pepper can had a limited edition unicorn on the logo. And perhaps some foreshadowing here, because the next opponent, as Roland said on a Thursday night, is the New Braunfels Unicorns. So confidence on the sides of the Cougars. And after what New Braunfels faced, they're going to face a Unicorn team with a bad taste in their mouth. And Roland, with that in mind, will you take us through some of the final scores you have through district?
Oh, absolutely. District play tonight, the latest we have. It's a final, actually. Judson over New Braunfels by a final score of 49-7. It was Clemens defeating East Central 35-0. And up the road from us in Cibolo, the Smithson Valley Rangers, who, as you were saying, were trailing at one point in their contest, go on to defeat the Steel Knights by a score of 43-20. So 3 straight losses for Steel. I don't know if I would have ever seen that coming.
It's definitely a shock to those who follow high school football in the greater San Antonio area. So your winners this week in district: Smithson Valley, Clemens, Judson, and your Canyon Cougars. Again, your final score here at DW Rutledge Stadium: the Canyon Cougars 38, the Wagner Thunderbirds 13. With the loss, the Wagner Thunderbirds dropped to 3-1 on the year, 0-1 in district play. With the win, the Cougars improved to 1-3 overall and 1-0 in District 27-6A. Taking a look at our broadcast schedule next week, circle your calendars. This is not going to be a Friday night affair. Thursday, the New Braunfels Unicorns will cross the Guadalupe River and come to Cougar Stadium for the 2017 installment of the Worst Bowl. We will have coverage here on the Cougars Network. Kickoff will be moved to 7 o'clock, which means our pregame coverage starts at 6:45. Be with us here on the Cougars Network as Canyon goes into week 2 of their district as they welcome their crosstown rivals, the New Braunfels Unicorns. Once again, your final score: Canyon 38, Wagner 13. Now for my broadcast partner this evening, Roland Ruiz. For the Washing Bear, our spotter statistician, Austin Milam, and for our executive producer, Bo Wick, I am Ben Campos, wishing you a good night and a safe drive home from DW Rutledge Stadium in Converse, Texas.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Comal Independent School District, Frost Bank, Nissan of New Braunfels, Wick Productions, Ashley, Zaxby's, and Texas Tractor Country.